darkest roads and up in the clouds, but I've always felt that something's missing. That was until I found you right there in the crowd. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky. Oh, there's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me, 'cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good. I've been waiting for the one forever. Finally I got you, baby, here in my heart. When I'm with you I feel so much better, oh yeah. Before you I was just a shell, so stuck in the dark. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky, oh. There's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me, 'cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good. Follow your heart, baby, don't be shy. Just follow yours and I'll follow mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me, 'cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good. Something good. Life goes up and it goes down. I know my mom taught me that. I figured why we fool around so little, and we keep track of time, being so serious. Idiots thinking it will matter, keep me company downtown before the clock runs out. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass. But I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, 'cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, no, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. No, no, not yet, whoa. I'm afraid I'll end up nowhere. They keep saying I'll be fine, but how you know that I'll be there when it feels like I'm lying every time someone asks how it goes, and I save the details that actually mean something. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things must pass.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Happy Friday! Happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a good Friday. Let me change views. Hold on 1 second here. Blah, blah, blah. You'd think I'd get used to this by now, right? There we go. Hello. Hello, everybody. How's everybody's Friday? Happy Friday, TGIF. Hope everybody's having a good Friday, a good end to their week, and ready to talk about some doll stuff. Yes. So let's check chat. What's going on here in chat? Come on, guys. Batman Jackson, welcome to the stream, Batman. Hello, Mika7. Hello, welcome to the stream, Mika. Yoshi Plays. Hello. Yesterday was your birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Yoshi Plays. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday. Hopefully you had a good birthday. Maybe some dolly stuff, maybe. Mimiko Minis, hello, welcome to the stream. PMB Sakura, welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. White Rose, welcome. TGIF, I know, right? Thank goodness it's Friday. Shauna McLaughlin, happy Friday from Canada. Whoa, Canada, whereabouts? Are you on the western half or the eastern half or central? Mika 7, bit of stress. Oh no, what happened, Mika? Hopefully, the stress is gone now and you got over it all. Yoshi Plays, my Friday's doing good. My birthday's yesterday. Yep. Yeah. You got dolly stuff? Is that what the yep is for? Did you get some good dolly stuff for your birthday? I hope so. So, I think that is everybody. I gave everybody a shout out so far that's here. So, okay. So, as usual, I am your host for today's episode, Shizusan, and welcome to Beyond the Doll. We are on episode 21. Wow, I didn't think, I was hoping for it, but I didn't think I'd make it this far. 21 episodes, people. That's quite a lot for my new show, for an ambitious show such as this. Amika 7, my sister's dog went into surgery, sadly. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, hopefully, they pull through and everything ends up being okay. Best wishes and prayers to the little guy or girl, whichever. Yoshi Plays that and Pokemon cards. Oh, okay, cool. Got yourself some good stuff then. Hopefully you got some shinies. But yeah, today is episode 21. And today we're going to talk about what is the right doll for you. And we're going to talk about FOMO. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because obviously I've said it in my news episode and I made a guest appearance on the Smart Doll News for My Lady Disdain's channel. And we talked about, like what's going on in, at the very least, the Smart Doll community about issues on people buying things, not sure about buying things, maybe returning things or whatnot. And I thought that while we're talking about that stuff already, why don't we talk about the dolls that we want? Like, why do we want them? What makes it the doll that we want, right? Like, what drives that need or that want? You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about that today. Hopefully, you guys will get a kick out of it. Find some good information. Yeah, I think that's it, right? You're welcome, Mika. No problem. So yeah. So today, as you guys can see, my lovely assistant here is the very lovely Cheryl Gnome. And the reason why she came out today for today's episode is not only because she hasn't been on the channel for at least a few months. The reason why she's here is because she was one of the dolls I was highly seeking or highly sought after by me back in the day. And she wasn't, I guess I was lucky when I got her because when I found out that she was being released, I was thankfully already a part of the hobby, but I was like brand spanking new to the hobby. I didn't know much of anything. And I really, really wanted this doll, but I didn't know how to get her. And, I did my research on how to buy her, where to buy her. I watched my favorite YouTubers of the time to seek all the information I could. And luckily enough, Cheryl over here was a pre-order project. So, I was able to pre-order her, pay, and then wait a whole year for her to come in. So, to say something of the fact that she's a Grail doll or she's my most wanted doll. Even though I kind of, in my heart of hearts, feel that way, she isn't really that. It's not that I don't like her. I absolutely love her. It's just since I didn't know at the time when I was brand new to the hobby what really what it really means to be a Grail doll. Now, obviously, that can be subjective. Everyone's idea of what a Grail doll can differ from person to person. But for me, at least my version of what a Grail doll is, she wasn't it because I was able to get her, and luckily there was no issues with getting her. But she was definitely a doll that I really wanted. So I believe there's a big difference between, dolls that you really, really want and like Grail dolls, and then just the other dolls in between that kind of like fall behind the wayside. And especially this year and the end of last year, there were a lot of dolls released that I really want. And for the most part, I guess I'm blessed or I'm lucky to have a good enough job to provide for myself, my family, and afford me some extra cash to, indulge in my hobby and pretty much get the dolls that I want whenever I want them, barring anything like like a lottery or a click war where it just wasn't possible. But this past, end of last year and, beginning of this year and throughout this year, I've had to turn down a lot of dolls and not purchase them because I've said it many times before, but for those of you who are new, I'm trying to save up to go to Japan. Like that's my goal right now is I really, really want to go to Japan. So I'm trying my best not to save, and both Dolphy Dream and A-Zone and Smart Doll are making it very difficult to save because they're releasing some amazing stuff as of late. But yeah, I think today is a good day to talk about this kind of topic because I'm experiencing that right now. Like, do I really, really want this doll? Do I need this doll? Is it a Grail doll? Is it a FOMO? I don't know. So we're going to talk about and discuss that topic tonight. And hopefully, I can get some of your guys' ideas about this. So, Shauna McLaughlin, Manitoba, still with snow. Oh, okay. I'm not sure whereabouts Manitoba is, if it's like on west or east side, but wow, you got snow over there? I'm lucky this year because I like snow, but I don't like driving in the snow, especially when I have to go to work. So we haven't really had much snow here where I am. Probably like one day where there was snow, so I was pretty lucky. But yeah, if you have snow over there, I don't know. Are you the kind of person that really likes snow? Do you like driving in the snow and being in the snow kind of thing? I don't know. We'll see. Let me know in the comments section. Mika7, thank you. And Mimiko Minis. Personally, my definition of a Grail doll is either one that was hard to get, really rare, or like if I could only have one doll, they'd be that one. Yeah, that's a pretty good definition. That pretty much falls in line of what like I would consider a Grail doll. But again, everybody has like a different definition or different takes on things of what could be or could not possibly be a Grail doll. And if you hear anybody's voices in the background, that would be my son who is complaining because he doesn't want to go to bed. So let's switch views real quick because I have some infographics, and poor Cheryl is getting caught. Like she can't fit in this, so she's gonna go off to her little corner here. She's gonna go off to her corner for now. Kathy Kone says, finally got my favorite Smart Doll Kanata semi-reel on layaway from Alabama. Welcome from Alabama, huh? Nice. I've never been, actually. Honestly, the furthest I've been south is Florida, but then I skipped states. Like I drove through them, but I didn't actually stop and visit. So like I skipped things like I think Georgia, right? And I don't think I drive through Tennessee going south, but I definitely skipped Georgia. And West Virginia, I don't think I stopped, but I'm not sure if it was West Virginia. No, it was regular Virginia that was on the way. But either way, out west, the furthest out west I've ever been is probably Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I haven't really made it out west. I should. One of these days, I really should. Are there any good cons out west, like Central, that's drivable from Jersey? Let me know. Tempest Strife, good evening from a hotel in the distant bergs of Zenkai-Con. Oh, that's right, Tempest. welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. I know you're at a con right now. Hopefully everything's going good at that con. Kathy Coney, 80 degrees today from Chicago. Oh, wow, that's really warm over there in Chicago. And it's still winter. Wow, 80 degrees. Oh, my God. I don't know what that is in Celsius for you individuals that are watching all over the world. I don't know how to do Celsius or like the millimeters or centimeter conversions. I need Google for that. Okay. But yeah, going back to the infographic for today's topic. So there became this debate, and I want to start with that first. And I've acknowledged it in the news last week and on My Lady Disdain's channel for the news. And I want to like just use it as like a stepping stone for today's topic, just kind of like a starters per se. And that is something that happened in Smart Doll Land, where a doll was released and everybody's all excited. We're all excited when Danny Chu posts that there's going to be a dollop. We're all like, yes, dolls, can't wait, right? And so he made a post, and you got Future and T. Future and T was released, and everybody was excited for her, especially those individuals that really wanted Future. We're very excited to get her. Tempest Strife, I was chatting with the coordinator of the Geekdom. They said the con grew a bunch. It's now 3 halls and 6,000 people. Wow, that's pretty big compared to the last time I was there. PMB Soccer, 43 degrees from Rhode Island. Ooh, that's like about what we're at here. We're kind of like at 50, so we're getting close to you. That's kind of chilly. Mimico Minis, I only learned how to convert millimeters to centimeters and centimeters to inches because of doll stuff. I know, I agree. 100%. 100% the same. Like, I know a 60 centimeter doll and how tall that is roughly because it's about 2 feet. So I just kind of imagine 2 feet tall and I'm like, that's 60 centimeters. Yeah, give or take. So Danny Chu posted that he was releasing Future in T. And a lot of people, like this gentleman here, was deciding, do I want Future in T? And a lot of people said yes. A lot of people, hit that click button. They bought her and they were like, yes, I want Future in T. Check out. Woohoo. Got my receipt and everything, my confirmation email that Future is coming. Then the next day, Danny Chu released that he's releasing Future in Cinnamon. And then apparently a couple individuals got angry. Let's just say angry. I don't want to say like any other things. Let's just disappointed or angry because they actually really wanted Future and Cinnamon, but they already purchased Future and T. And that here is the conundrum, right? Just like this gentleman here in the picture. It's a conundrum now because he's already purchased Future and T. And now he's like, but I really wanted Future and Cinnamon. What do I do? And he's thinking, T, Cinnamon, T, Cinnamon, T, Cinnamon. And some individuals, just bought Cinnamon and ended up having both. Some individuals just said, well, I already purchased T. I'm just going to stick with T. And other individuals decided they wanted Cinnamon and tried to have an exchange happen. And therein came the problem because it's not so much asking for an exchange or asking if you could, if it's possible to, switch out the dolls. Asking is never really that bad. I don't think there's a problem with asking. As long as you're nice about it and you're cordial and you're just like, hey, I made a mistake. And if possible, if you're able to do this for me, I'd be, grateful. And, Smart Doll might do something for you. But there's also the chance that they may not. And they may just stick to their policy and say, sorry, there's no exchanges. And so for some of the individuals that were told sorry, my chair keeps dipping, they got disappointed and, started threatening chargebacks and started threatening, that like Danny's trying to deceive people and run away with their money and stuff like that. So that's what kind of sparked this whole topic that I wanted to talk about today. And that is, what's the doll that you really want, right? Like, what doll do you really want, so that you don't fall into this conundrum. You don't fall into this, this unfortunate situation. What do you really, really want? Like, what drives you? What motivates you? For me, right now, it's C2. I'm I've been wanting C2 since the announcement back in, what was it, 2017? I think he announced C2 in 2017. Yeah, 2017. Yeah, I think it's 2017. And like, I've been waiting a real long time for C2. And this is a doll that I really want. And she's going to be really hard to get, because the way that things run net right now with Smart Doll is that it ends up being a click war. He announces it when it's gonna be launched, and then if you got super good ninja skills, you may be lucky enough to get one. Now, some may say, well, why can't he just make enough for everybody? Well, that would be nice if that was possible, but in reality, if he could, he probably would if he had the ability to, but he has to work with the parent company that owns the rights to C2. And, they have a say too on whether or not he launches a bunch of them, a limited amount of them, and they have a say on how she's going to look, what outfit she's going to wear. They have a say on pricing too. So, they all have to work together to release this, beautiful product that we all want. So unfortunately, because of that, some people may get her, some people may not, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak. And that happens a lot in a lot of different things. It's not just the doll community. There's other communities that have the same. Like Supreme has that issue. The Gundam kit side has that issue. Nendroids have the issue. Like it's everywhere, right? So you have to make decisions. At some point, you have to decide because there's going to be other figures or other dolls coming down the pipe. Maybe we don't know what those dolls are, or maybe we do, but we know there's going to be some coming down the road, and there may be some that you have been looking for that were already released that if one day they just will so happen to pop up, you're going to drop everything to try to get it, kind of thing. So you gotta make some really tough decisions because if you're anything like me, you don't have, infinite amounts of money to just spend on every single doll. Now, if you do, more power to you. I'm jealous. But if you're like me and you have to make some hard cuts, you know what I mean? Not everybody can make varsity, you gotta really decide who's worth it and who's not. So before I go on a little bit, I noticed chat's been popping off. Let me see. And Mika says, I still have to use Google to convert. Yeah, I do too. Even though, like, I don't have to use it to convert for, like, centimeters to feet, only when it's 60 centimeters. I don't have to convert. Tempa says, also, it's much easier to scale things in metric than inches. That's what I've heard. I just don't know. Like, WTF is 5/16 of an inch. Yeah, I know. The empirical system. It doesn't make any sense. Mimika says, I still can't decide which skin tone I want Future in when I buy her, to be honest. I mean, yeah, we know there's a cinnamon and a tea. I don't know. Is there plans for Coco? I'm not really sure. Danny is pretty considerate if you are kind and understand that they might not do what you're asking. This is very true. Always make sure that there's another person on the other end of the line or the email that you're sending it to, and they're human just like you. Just be cordial with each other. Tempa says, the only grail I haven't tracked down and owned, at least for a period of time, Automail Jerome. And if they ever did Cloud Strife. You never know. I mean, Square Enix already opened that door for Final Fantasy characters, so possible? I don't know. Let's see. That happened to me when Suzaku, I wanted him, I didn't have the money, but my friend Ninja got him for me. Oh, that's great. That's a good friend of yours. Tempa says, but if Fairyland redoes the 60 centimeter female body, especially in a small bus with the same flexibility as recent males' bodies redo. Batman Jackson says, my Grail doll still doesn't exist. Back in 2017, Ring Doll teased getting approval from Amano to make an official Vampire Hunter D. It still hasn't happened. So wait, he teased it that he got approval? Like as in it's like a legit approval? They just never got to it? That kind of sucks. Like, at that point, you should just not announce something. Like, it's one thing, at least with Danny, when he announced C2, yes, it's been 5 years since then, but at least he shows progress every now and then. Like, we can kind of see some progress. But if nothing happened, that kind of sucks. They released a hella sparse photo and then silence. Yeah, that's not cool, man. It's like a huge tease. Kathy Connie, I don't work so it's harder to save. Yeah, I can understand that. Like, I mean, you the first and foremost thing is, you got to be able to, keep yourself alive, pay for your housing, pay for your food, clothing, heat, water, all the necessities, and then whatever you're left with, you got to make some hard decisions, on what to save, to spend, how long to save. So I get that. Like, I get that. It is tough. Batman Jackson, for anyone that collects resin and remembers Doll in Mind or Mini Me custom heads, I was the person who ran the Vampire Hunter D and Lefty Go like a decade ago. Oh, a decade ago? Dang, Batman. There's a Coco Future. I just checked the page. Oh, okay. Not released or released? I'm not really sure. I wish other companies made the Nekoparo girls other than Fairlands Antifees. It's kind of jank. So yeah, I just sorry about that. I wanted to chat with you guys, so I was trying to catch up with chat. You guys are popping off tonight. So yeah, the doll that you really, really want. So right now, C2 is the doll I really, really want. And my question that I posed in the news last week, and that I'm posing to you guys again, because now I could talk to you face to face, sort of, live on stream, is that if you really, really want a doll, if there's like a doll that you really want, and there could be multiple ones, like let's say, it's a C2, and it's a gray Fortitude, and it's a Chitose Realityverse, right? Like let's say you want all three of those. That's fine. They can be dolls that you really, really want. But then, if they release something else, like a gray Anomaly, and you just so happen to have the ninja skills to buy a gray Anomaly, and then the next day they release C2, that's your fault, right? Like, because you didn't plan for gray Anomaly in your budget. Like, that wasn't planned in your budget. Now, I know things can surprise you and come out when you least expect it. I get that. That happens. That makes sense. But let's say in this example, you bought the gray Anomaly and then, C2's released the next day. You could send an email to Smart Doll and ask them very nicely if it's possible to do an exchange. Whether or not that'll actually happen, I don't know. I don't work for Smart Doll. I think more than likely that they would probably say no. But I'm not going to say that they definitely will say no, because I can't speak on their behalf. I don't work for Danny, so I don't know, what they would do in that situation. But I'm of the mind that it never hurts to ask. But just make sure that you ask nicely and cordially. And if you get shot down and they say no, because it's a business practice or it's a principle of theirs or whatever the reason may be, I don't think it's appropriate to start firing back at them, and blaming them that they're trying to deceive you, trying to steal your money from you, and then threatening to do chargebacks. Like, that's not the way to go. I don't think that's appropriate. In a way, it's your fault because you didn't plan for that. And I know things happen out of nowhere, so I get that. But you're just gonna have to own up to it at that point. Be like, I didn't really budget this doll in, but it just popped out of nowhere, and I fell in love with her at first sight, so I bought her. But then the one that was on your really want list came out, C2, and then you just didn't have any money for her. That sucks. It really does. I'm not gonna say that's cool. It sucks. It's terrible to feel that way. I get it, but it's not the company's fault. I don't believe it's the company's fault. I don't think the company is trying to swindle you out of money. Now, I do agree that Danny's release process or scheduled release process is not what you normally run into with other companies. Like, some companies will tell you, hey, this doll's coming out. Like the two new dolls coming out from Volks. They're like, hey, these two dolls are coming out at Dolpa 49 this April 23rd. So you have a set date. You have a set time, right? Like, some people like that. Some people enjoy that. But it does run the risk because everybody in the world, or at least in the doll community, knows those two dolls are coming out on the 29th, which means it's a huge click war. The odds of you getting that doll is going to be very slim. The websites will go crazy. They may crash. Somebody may click faster than you. And, so a lot of people don't like that method either anyways, because they're like, oh, because maybe you live in an area that just unfortunately doesn't have good internet connection. Or maybe you're just not ninja typing skills fast enough to check out and get the doll. You know what I mean? And it crashes the website on their end for like the business end. So not everybody likes the fact that something has a date set in stone because of that possible issue. But right now, the only thing that Danny could think of, at least I'm assuming that he could think of in a release schedule, is to, randomly release things. Now, he does give us a heads up. He does tell us in tweets that, oh, there's a dollop going to be tomorrow. He doesn't tell you what they are, though. But he says there's a dollop, so something is coming down the pipe. It's going to be tomorrow. You just don't know what it is. And whether or not that makes the process easier for some folks or harder for some folks, time will only tell, and people will obviously state their opinions in comment sections on videos or in Danny Chu's posts. People will always express their feelings about it, but there is no real win-win situation. The only way you could possibly come up with a win-win situation is if they just make an infinite amount of said product, and that's never gonna happen. And to be fair, Danny Chu actually tried that option. He really did. He tried that option because if you remember, for those of you that's been in this hobby for a while, and for those of you that are new, here's a little, nugget of information, is that when Danny Chu first released Smart Doll, it was stated that all dolls will be available all the time, for all of time. Like, that's what it was. Like, if Mirai sold out, she's going to come back. If Chitose sold out, she's going to come back. Everything will be available to you. And if it's sold out, it will come back for you to get. It will never go away. At least that's how it started in the very beginning. And I love that. And a lot of people love that in the beginning of Smart Doll. Because before Smart Doll launched, there was only A-Zone, Dolphy Dream, and a couple other small companies, around, and they always followed the same exact format of, they release something, limited quantities, you get it, or you don't get it, that's it. And Danny himself was a part of that hobby. He was a part of that community before he created his own dolls. And, fortunately for him, he was able to get all the dolls that he wanted, at least from what I could tell, because if you watch some of his older videos, he had like almost every doll in existence. It was pretty crazy. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying that when you looked at his older, I guess you could say his older studio setup, there was like a wall of dolls. Just a wall of them. So like, he didn't have that issue, but being a member of the community, he knew how other people felt. He had friends in the community that couldn't get the dolls they wanted also. So I guess when he started his company, he was like, I want nobody to miss out. I don't want anybody to have that fear that they're never going to get the doll they want. So all his dolls are going to be available all the time. That's how it started. That's how it started with Smart Doll. And then there came a time where it just, he realized, that it just wasn't feasible to have them available all the time, because he's a creative. He's a creator. He wants to make new stuff. He doesn't want to make the same stuff over and over and over again. And, he wants to make room for new things. But if you're constantly making the same product over and over, it doesn't leave much room logistically and planning wise and time frame wise, like just sheer time to make new stuff. It's the same reasoning with cars. And I know I do that a lot, because make an analogy with cars, because I used to be a huge car guy. But it's the same thing with cars. You never see the same 1970s Honda Civic being made every single year so that it's available to everyone at all times. No, every 4 years or to 8 years, they change it to a different Civic, or they just get rid of it altogether. Like, who remembers the Honda CRX? That was out for a couple years, and then it was gone. Nobody could ever get it back again. Who remembers, RX-7s? Mazda RX-7s. They had their line of, Cosmo to RX-1s to 3s to 4s to, I don't know if there was a 6, to a 7s, and then an 8s, and now they're just gone. You just can't get them anymore. They're just gone because they wanted to move on from that. Well, mostly because the technology at the time, rotary engines are not really gas efficient, so that was really hurting. And not many people want to buy sports cars during a time when gas was really expensive, at least back in the 80s, and then again in the 2000s. Even like a couple years ago, we have gas issues. So things change. Your environment change, the society changes what they needs, what they wants, and creators also change for the better or for the worse, whatever it may be. So as much as it would be nice to have every single doll available at all times whenever you want one, it's just not feasible. So you got to make the hard choices as a business and as a customer, as us, the doll community, you and me. As much as we would love to have every doll that we ever wanted and just have not a problem, just be like, I want it, there it is, buy it, click. Like, it's just not possible. As much as we would love that to be, it's just not possible. So you got to make some hard choices, right? You got to really decide where you spend your money, and and that's, I don't know how else to like wind that down. Before we continue on, let's see. There's some more here in chat. Saving up for Tea Timeless or Never Say Never. Ooh, those are good ones. I like Never Say Never. Timeless is okay. She's not like my personal favorite, but if you love her, that's great. I'm looking forward to Onward. I don't think Onward was ever released as a full doll. I think an option had, but not really a full doll. But I'm waiting for Onward. Onward is one that I like. Kathy Coney says, I will have 2 Kanatas after trying for 3 years. Anime and semi-real. Anime is going to be custom. Well, congratulations. You're going to have them? Or you have them? No, it says I will have. No, I will have. So you don't have them all yet, is what I'm thinking. Mimiko Minis. I have a lot of character dolls. I want that'll probably never exist, so I have to make custom dolls. Chocola, Vanilla, Marin, Shizusan, Rizukyun, plus a ton of OCs. Yeah, we can never, unless you win the lottery or super rich, it's you're never going to really have every single doll you want. Let's see, Tempest, just resale the doll, in my opinion. Mimiko, but like, bruh, it's simple. Just don't be rude. Yeah, well, you would think it's simple, but it's not for everybody, and it's not because everybody is assholes or dicks. It's not really what I mean. It's just when you're in that moment, like you're in that heat of the moment, like your adrenaline's pumping. You're either angry or you're happy, whatever high or low you're at. Sometimes you do or say things that you regret, and maybe that person that emailed Danny emailed it in a fit of rage, and now in retrospect, looking back, they regretted saying it, and you never know, maybe they sent an apology email, we just never saw it. Who knows? But sometimes people aren't just naturally dicks. Like, sometimes they are, but sometimes they aren't, and sometimes your adrenaline kicks in, and your fear, your panic kicks in, and you do and say things that you don't really mean, and that could also be something that may have happened. Tempest Strike, but here's the question. Would it be better customer service to do a lottery format and wait for a quantity of all 3 skin tones to be available first? You could, but then you would kind of have to do a lot of those lotteries, because in order to make all the skin tones first, you would have to make, let's say, 20 tea, 20 cinnamon, and 20 cocoa. Whereas in the first release, you could have 100 cinnamon in the first release, and then 100 cocoa in the second release, and 100, tea in the third release. And I think more individuals will be able to get that specific doll, rather than having all 3 skin tones come out and then it's like 20, 20, 20, and like, there's not enough for pretty much everyone at that point. But it's possible. You got to remember too, he has a small team. So if he's gonna make it all in 3 skin tone colors, like what's the max amount for each skin tone color for a specific release day? You gotta factor that in. Do you just satisfy all the cinnamon, or as many as the cinnamon skin tone color people as you can at the first release, and then catch some later when you make a second run at it? Or do you only satisfy 20 people of each skin tone color in one release? Like, it's kind of hard to make that. Now, if Dainichu had a huge team and like a huge factory that did it, then maybe that's more plausible, I would say. Because the current method creates a frenzy base and scarcity and FOMO. It kind of does. It really does. And we'll get to that in a bit when I want to talk about FOMO. Mimiko Mini says, I don't like click wars, and so I just wait for usually scalper sales afterwards. Yeah, I don't like click wars either. I'm not a fan of click wars, but it's just something that happens. And it's not just the doll community that runs into this. There's many other communities out there that has this issue. It's not just us. I'm not a fan of it because sometimes my internet crashes. Sometimes I'm just too slow at the ninja skills, and I miss out, and it kind of sucks. But you can't satisfy everybody, and you just gotta kind of weigh, how badly do you want something? Maybe you just wait for it to get a second release, or if it's a limited edition doll like C2, maybe you're just going to have to try your hand in the scalper market, because there'll be some floating around the scalper market, and none of us want to get taken advantage of by scalpers. But sometimes, you got to do what you got to do if you really want that doll. And I'm not saying to support scalpers, but if they're the only ones that have the doll, then, suffice to say, you're either going to shell out the money to get it, right? Or, what could happen is, because not all these scalpers are doll lovers. Some of them just do it because they know it turns a profit, and they have no interest in the hobby at all. So, like, if they put something down for a scalper price of, like, triple the price, whatever, and no one's biting because it's too hard, sure, they'll lower it a little bit at a time. But it'll get to the point where they're just not going to want to lower it anymore, and they may just take the loss and just throw it out. Now you just missed out on that doll, or a couple people missed out on the opportunity to buy that doll. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but that's a possibility. That's a possibility of something that could happen. There's many possibilities that could happen, but I'm just saying, like, if someone's willing to pay that price, then more power to them. Even though they are supporting scalpers, I'm not saying to support them, but sometimes you just want what you want, and if you're just lucky enough to have that disposable income to do it, I'm not judging them, because for those individuals, maybe they make like $1 million a year and they have money to just throw away. Who knows? I don't know their situation. Let's see. Tempest Strife says, I think at the time he only planned on 1 skin tone and 3 sculpts. Well, yeah, at the time he did. It was only milk at the time. And God only knows whether or not he had Coco and Tea in the works and just never mentioned it and was like keeping it a surprise, but who knows? But yeah, in the beginning, it was only the milk skin tone color. I think Danny did that before. I remember there was a time when the doll be released. He did, like Chitose, the original OG Chitose, he actually did like a pre-order period where you had to fill out a form to pre-order her. And I don't know if the pre-order for Chitose's original release actually filled up and he had to close it, or if it never filled up. I'm not entirely sure. Does anyone remember? Put it in the comment section. Tempest says, see you on the restream. Time to wind down with some games before sleeping tomorrow. Oh, have a good night, Tempest. Sorry. I'm like going back. I'm trying to give everybody's message a shout out. So like, I'm sorry I'm only getting to you right now. TrippyCast, do you have StreamYard? No, I do not have StreamYard. Is that like, are you talking like a streaming platform like Streamlabs or OBS kind of thing? Then no, I don't have StreamYard. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Kathy Coney, T-body waiting for custom head to be painted and semi-real is on the way on layaway. Oh, I see. Okay, Kathy. I got you now. I got you. So they're coming. They're coming. Batman Jackson says, I just looked it up. I ran the VHD and Lefty Go. Vampire Hunter D and Lefty Go in 2009, 2010? That's a long time ago, Batman. Wow. It's a long time to be waiting. Tempest says, just have less release days. Wait for stock build up between. It's possible, he could do that. It's nothing that I would say is not a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. Whether or not he will take that into consideration, maybe do that, I don't know. It really just depends on his what is the word? Depends on the way he runs his company, like how he, has things, and if it fits with the logistics of how his company works, then maybe he will do that. Who knows? But it's a good suggestion. Whether or not he would do it, I don't know. But that's not a bad plan per se. Mika 7, it was like a countdown timer thing. I believe it was like 2 years ago. Was it a countdown timer? I'm trying to remember. So much doll news happening, like it's hard to like remember everything. And I do kind of remember a lot of stuff, but like some things just can't fit in my head. So anyways, yeah, you got to really, decide like what doll do you really want? Make a list of all the dolls that you really want versus all the dolls that are kind of like, that would be cool if I had it, or that would be nice if I had it. You make your 2 separate lists. And then once you make your list, you save up for those really want dolls. Obviously, you're going to save up 1 at a time or whatever, or if you're fortunate enough to save up for 2 at a time, however your finances work out for you. And then when he does do those drops, where he's like, there's a doll up tomorrow. Oh, have a good night, Tempest. Like if he does do those drops and he's like, there's a doll up tomorrow. So now you're like, okay, I'm ready. I have some funds ready for at least 1 doll. But you don't know which one it is. So when he names it and he announces it, you gotta like memorize in your head or have a sheet of paper with you. Does that name of that doll fall on your really want list, or does it fall on your I would like to have at some point list? Because if it's on your I'd like to have on a some point list, then just ixnay it. Just be like, I'm not buying that doll. It'd be nice to have it, but I'm not buying it now because I have my list of really want doll, right? And then even within your list of really want dolls, you gotta number them, right? Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to however many numbers that you have. Let's say for the sake of this argument, you have 5, right? Just for this example. If Danny says there's a doll up tomorrow, and then he announces it the next day, and it's, I don't know, like Naruto, and Naruto's 5 on your list, then then you're like, I know he announced that he's going to be releasing C2 this year also, and C2's number 1 on my list. So that's when you got to make the hard decisions, right? The hard cuts. But like if it's something like, I don't know, Chitose Reality Verse and Coco, and that's not on your really want list, then you should just have that willpower. And I know it's hard, trust me, because I'm going through it right now. I know it's hard, but if it's not on your really want list, it's just on your, it would be nice to have list, then you gotta like, shove it down. Woosah, you gotta be like, I'm not pulling the trigger on this. I gotta say no. Let me turn off Twitter right now. Cause you don't want to fall into that, FOMO, that fear of missing out. And that brings me to the next thing, right? Your Grail dolls. So you gotta know the difference between the dolls you really, really want and then the Grail dolls, right? So what is a Grail doll? I said it before. Grail doll is subjective for everybody. Everyone's gonna have a different definition. But amongst that definition, there are some similarities amongst them for everybody. Usually a Grail doll kind of entails something that's hard to get, super rare, or really expensive. And the majority of those 3 categories, they usually end up for dolls that have already been released. Something that you missed. Like if you got into the hobby right now, then obviously, like if you wanted like, I don't know, like a Dolphy Dream Cheryl Gnome like I have, that was like almost 8 years ago when she was released. So obviously you missed out on that. So then that becomes a Grail doll for you because she's older, she's not released, and you have to wait some time for one to pop up on the secondhand market. And if one does, maybe it's too expensive for you to afford right now. So you just favorite that page and you check it every day to make sure she's still there until you finally have enough money and you could be like, click, there's my Grail doll. Or it could be something that's super, super rare. Something that was released and you just unfortunately never see it pop up. It doesn't come up on any of the scalper sites either. It doesn't come up on the used sites. It doesn't come up in Facebook groups. So you're just kind of like, man, when is this doll ever going to come out? When is someone going to want to sell theirs or something like that, right? That's what I think is really a Grail doll. And those dolls, I feel like if you're diligent enough, I guess, if you're good enough, you put aside a separate budget for that one. Like I have, like me personally, I have a Grail doll budget, and then I have the doll that I really want budget. Now, most of my money goes into the doll that I really want budget, because that's for like something that's like immediate future, like C2. Something that's in my immediate future that I know is going to be coming at some point, and I really want it so that my ninja skills are ready to buy her when she comes out. And then there's like a Grail doll, something that like I've been saving for. That one, the way I save usually for that is like, you know how like you can have a cookie jar, and every now and then you just, if you have extra change or extra money, just kind of throw money in that cookie jar. Well, the way I do it is I have like a separate savings account for that one. So it's a special doll savings account that anytime I have, like, I pay my bills at the end of the month and I just have some extra cash. And when I say extra cash, I'm not talking about like hundreds or thousands of dollars. I mean like $2, $3. Like I didn't buy a coffee this week or something like that. You know, I toss that $3 in that extra savings pile. Now that one obviously will grow slower because Grail dolls, they don't really come up that often. But when they do come up, you know, you gotta make that decision, right? So here's how I plan it. Here's how I'm gonna pitch it to you guys. If you do it the way I'm doing it, and you have your I really want doll budget, and then you have your Grail doll budget, right? Let's say your really want doll budget C2 is coming out sometime this year. You've saved up, you have the money for whatever. Then there's the Grail doll budget that it's not that big yet. You're still saving. You're still working on it. But the Grail doll popped up, right? This has probably happened to some of you because it's happened to me. The Grail doll pops up, but you don't have the funds yet in your Grail saving, right? The way I do it is that Grail trumps really, really want. That's how I do it, because that's what encapsulates a Grail doll to me. Like that, to me, my Grail doll is something that I will get no matter what the cost, right? Now, obviously, I'm not going to pay tens of thousands of dollars, but, you know, what I would do is that if my Grail doll pops up, which it could take years for it to pop up, or maybe it pops up every now and then, but it's not really in good condition, kind of like what happened with Dolphy Dream Saber Lily. Saber Lily has popped up every now and again, but her price was really high. And some people are willing to pay that price. But the problem was they weren't willing to pay that price for a doll that was a Grail doll that was missing parts, or a Grail doll that was broken or stained. That was the problem. So sometimes your Grail dolls will pop up, but you pass on it because it's missing parts, or it's stained, or it's broken. So you wait for the next one that becomes available. So for me, my Grail dolls are the ones I really want, because they're a Grail. They hold that special place of need for me. And then there's the I really want. So if the Grail doll comes out before C2, my philosophy is the money that was saved for C2 automatically went to the Grail doll. And then I go, and hopefully if I have enough, and put together the Grail doll savings and the I really want savings together, then boom, I can get the Grail doll. If not, if both of them combined still can't add up for the Grail doll, then unfortunately I just gotta pass on it. And I've done that a couple times. Like my Grail doll was Asuna, the original Asuna from Sword Art Online. There's two versions, the original and the Titania version. I didn't want the Titania version. I wanted the original. And I've passed up on her when I was in Japan. She was right in front of me in the store in Japan, and I could have brought her home with me, but she was just too expensive. She was like, I think it was like $2,100, and I wasn't willing to spend that for her, even though I really wanted her. And I just didn't have enough money. Didn't have the funds. So you got to make some hard cuts. So I waited. So I kept throwing money in that Grail fund. And then, you know, eventually one popped up online in one of those online stores. And I put my really want money into my Grail doll fund money, and I had just enough, and I got her, and now I have an Asuna, OG Asuna, and that's how I do it. I'm not saying that's how you guys got to do it, but that's kind of how I worked through it, and that's how I got myself through my whole doll career, I guess you could say, or hobby, so to speak. That's how I kind of like work it out and get around it. Now I'm very lucky and fortunate enough that I have a good job, so my savings or my savings funds, I can put a little bit more into there than some individuals can. But again, this strategy may work for you, it may not. I'm just letting you guys know how I think about things, and maybe that may help you. And if it doesn't, that's fine. I just figured I'd just give you my opinion. That's what this is for. This is my platform to give you my opinion, I guess, and hear yours. That's why I have chat, so I can hear yours and talk to you guys about it. So Mimiko says, also, if it's a doll that's really popular, like Future or Fortitude, then they'll probably come back. Meanwhile, if it's a newer doll or a character doll, they may not come back. That's true. So if it's a limited doll, like C2, that one's not coming back. 98% sure it's not coming back. And the reason why I say 98%, Jaffred, hey, good night. Have a good night. Thank you for coming to the stream. So the reason why I say limited characters are not coming back 98% from Smart Doll is because Lelouch got re-released twice. So the possibility of a limited doll coming back is there. It doesn't mean it's going to come back for every single doll. Nobody thought that Lelouch was going to come back, let alone come back twice. So, I mean, it sets a precedence that it has happened before. It doesn't necessarily mean it will happen. I'm just saying that it has happened. So we could say 98% certainty that that doll will never come back. But like Mimiko said, if it's a really popular doll, it will more than likely come back. I mean, that's usually how Danny Chu metrics his sales. And to be honest, that's pretty much how a lot of companies metrics their sales. Like if he releases a doll and nobody buys it, obviously it's going to get canned. And when I say nobody buys it, I don't mean literally nobody. Like all the dolls are still in the store and never left. What I mean is like proportionate or percentage wise, right? So if all his dolls are selling at an equal amount of, 20% of his sales is evenly distributed amongst a bunch of dolls, and then like one doll is obviously more popular than another, like 50% of his sales are all Future dolls or Mirai dolls, and then like all the other dolls fall at 10% and 20%. But if there's a doll that sold only 1% or 5%, which means he's only sold like a handful, like 10 or 20 of them, whatever those percentages may be, that doll could be discontinued and not come back. That's a possibility. It doesn't mean nobody bought them, and it doesn't mean that nobody was asking for them. There are people that want those dolls, but it just didn't make as much sales as the other dolls. So in the case that happened this recently with Future being in Cinnamon and Tea, that fear, that FOMO of not getting the doll, I don't think that really applies for Future. And plus, Danny Chu made a post saying that Future, is one of his favorites. It's not really his favorite because I think right now it's what was the doll that he literally just posted is his favorite. He literally just posted it on his page, and now I can't even think of who that was. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up really quick. Oh yeah, Imagine. He said Imagine is his newest, fave right now. You know what I mean? Like Future was also part of his fave at some point, and Future sells really well, and I think he's going to come back. Future's going to come back at some point. If you missed out on Cinnamon and Tea, at some point they will come back. And I get it, you wanted it now, but at least have, the safety blanket or the comfort in knowing that since she's so popular, she will come back in the skin tone color that you want. more than likely. I'm not going to guarantee it because I don't work for Danny. I can't say 100% it'll come back. But the odds of her coming back is pretty high, considering on how fast she sold out. So, you know, you just kind of like, yeah, kind of think of the big picture, you know? Maybe you wanted her right now. I get that. But she will come back. She will come back. Let's see. Mika7 says, that happens to me when Dana released Anime Fortitude in T, and I was in class in Zoom, and I have to get her. So yeah, thing happened. Yeah, like sometimes that just happens. Like if Fortitude in T was on your list and you were in class, man, you move heavens to try to get her while you're in class. Not that I'm not saying that you guys need to skip class, you know, but sometimes, you know, things happen. You got to work with what you got. Kathy Kone says, I craft to save a little extra money for outfits and stuff. That's not a bad idea. If you're crafty like that, you're handy like that, definitely more power to you. Mimico Mini says, I thought Batgirl also got 2 batches, like a few weeks apart. I could be wrong. Batgirl got 2 batches, but it wasn't... She did get 2 batches, but it wasn't an official release. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Some of you might know this better than me or better than Mimico. But Batgirl, when she originally was released, Danny made a tweet about releasing a doll, and then he put a word in there, and I had no idea what that word meant. So some of you that were very handy with Google Translate, or you spoke that language, apparently it meant bat in, what was it, Spanish or something? Or some other language. It basically meant bat. So the people that were ninja clicky skills, and they were able to translate that, or already knew the language and knew what that meant, you know, they got that release real quick. That was like the initial batches. And then, like, you're right. Like, I think it was like a week or 2 weeks later, he did another, like, official release batch. So I don't know if I really want to call it 2 separate releases, like a release and then a re-release. It was more so like a surprise release, kind of like when you get the Pebbles, when he does the Pebbles and you never know what you're going to get, a doll or a rock. Where in this case, you didn't know what you were going to get unless you were able to translate what it was, because I fell into that category. I was like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I was like, I guess I'll know when he releases it or something. And then everybody that was buying it was like tweeting out, oh my God, it's Batgirl. Oh my God, I got Batgirl. And I was like, wait, what? Batgirl? So like, I didn't know. So I don't know if I would count that as a re-release, more so as a surprise Pebble kind of release and then an official release. But again, I guess that could be subjective depending on how you want to take it. But yeah, that's what happened. Are we talking about CC as well? I'm also sure she'll be pretty hard to get. Yeah, CC, we were talking about CC before. She's going to be hard to get. She's definitely going to be a click war. And I know not everybody's very keen on that. And I honestly don't think anybody is like, yay, click war, let's go. Like, I don't think anybody loves click wars, but you know, it's just one of the ways that, you know, that a company can sell things. It's not just Danny Chu. Every hobby out there has a version of pre-orders and has a version of click wars, you know, like Apple iPhones or Supreme, you know, sometimes their click wars aren't even click wars, you know, in on the internet. Sometimes their version of click wars is wait outside the store for X amount of hours. I mean, how many people was waiting outside of Apple stores all over the world for like that iPhone Red edition or whatever? Like, people camped out in front of the stores for like 2 days straight, 3 days straight. I can't do that. Like, I just don't have the time to take days off and then sit out there for 3 days straight. Like, that's just not me. Like, I just can't. I apparently didn't want it that bad. So, you know, there could be that. Would you rather that? Would you rather be like, you know, camping outside? Like, I don't know. I think I would take click wars over that. You know, and then, you know, like, it's just, pre-orders would be nice, but not every company has the ability to do pre-orders. So it really just depends. So, you know, I don't think anyone's jumping for the hills for click wars, but, you know, you gotta just make do with you know, with what you get. You know, the world's not perfect, and companies, you know, they're not perfect, and they have limited options available to them. And if this is their available option, then that's their available option. Every hobby, everything comes that way, whether it's cars, model kits, Figmas, Nendroids. At some point in time, they all have a pre-order, they all have a click war, they all have some version of waiting outside, standing in line. Hell, I tried standing in line for a PS5 outside of Best Buy. I tried it twice. Did not work out. I never got one. One time I got close. They called the guy in before me. He got his PS5 and I was next in line, and the guy came out and they were like, sold out, guys. I was, was I so mad. I waited in that line for like 4 hours and then it was my turn next to buy the PS5 and the guy came out and was like, we're sold out. And I was like, no. It's just something you just got to deal with. And it's just an unfortunate way of life. Nothing is perfect in this world, and you just gotta outweigh the pros and the cons and what you're willing to do and what you're willing not to do. Let me see. What else is going on? Lummy Lum, welcome to the stream, Lummy. Chi. Yeah, I know. Picture of Chi is up there. Jaffred, I'm looking for her, but honestly, I think I won't be able to even win the click war. That is a possibility. Click wars are hard to get. That's why they call it a click war. And it's unfortunate that not everybody has the same internet connection. Some people have poorer connections than others. And obviously, because it's being released in Japan, individuals living in Japan, obviously the bandwidth is just better for them. Like, they don't have to go through as many hurdles. Like, the internet is great. We can communicate with people across the entire world within a matter of seconds. But like when you have thousands of people all over the world clicking on something, it's very hard. It's very hard to get something. And yeah, sometimes it's unfortunate that you have lesser of a chance because you're geographically where you are, or your internet service provider, or how many people in your home is on the internet. Like some people may be like, nobody in the house turns on the internet but me for the next hour at least. Everybody has to turn their stuff off. Like you could try that to see if that works. I don't know. Lummy Lum also claps. Okay, claps, Lummy Lum. Let me get some more tea, guys. I've been doing a lot of talking. Okay. So let's see what else we got here. Mimiko says Future will also most likely come back because she's semi-real version of Mirai, and as she's also the company mascot. Yeah, I know. Future will definitely come back. That's another thing why I didn't understand why people were getting upset. Is because it's one of those dolls that I think I won't say forever. Will stay around forever because we never know the future. But I think it's one of those dolls that will get at least a multitude of releases. So, if you missed on the first release of Cinnamon Future or Tea Future, I'm almost certain she will have other releases in the future. Wow, that was kind of weird. Future will have other releases in the future. So I didn't really understand why people were so upset. It's just it is what it is. And that's why we're having this talk today, is to maybe help you gauge what it is that you really want versus what you can kind of pass on. Try to make better decisions, so to speak. Batman Jackson, she was a secret Chiroptera. That was the word, Chiroptera. What language is that? Was that like Spanish or something? I don't know what that was. But he posted Chiroptera, and I didn't know that meant bat. I had no idea. I paid so effing fast. Oh, you got those ninja skills, Batman Jackson. I see. Mimiko says, I thought that Fabric and Friends got 2 batches, though. Like, they had one, it sold out, and then they got a restock. Yes, Fabric and Friends, I believe, and Anime Sugoi. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was 2 batches. Oh, not with Batgirl, I don't think. I think it was Supergirl. They got 2 batches. And Lelouch. They actually got a 3rd release for Lelouch. Yes, Lelouch got a 3rd release because it was a special Fabric and Friends and Anime Sugoi special where you could only pre-order from them for a 3rd release. It wasn't released from Smart Doll. Yeah, there was some kind of thing. I don't know what that promotion was all about or how it came to be, but there was something of that nature that happened. And that was very interesting. A lot of love for Lelouch, and apparently Bandai must have given the go ahead for multiple releases of him because they had to in order for that had to happen. Batman Jackson says, I knew the word from Blood and Last Vampire. It's not Spanish. It's the mammal class order. Oh, so it's like the genospecies or whatever they call that thing. Like the name of the species, like the mammal name. Okay. So Chiroptera wasn't a language. It was like a species name kind of thing. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know what the hell it was. Like, I totally missed out. I didn't have the money to buy her anyways at the time because that was at that point where I was starting to save for my Japan fund, so I'd pass on her anyways. But Batman Jackson was nice enough to let me do an unboxing of her. Thank you, Batman. Kathy Coney says, as soon as Fabric and Friends put up on Insta Semi-Real, I was in my email ready to send. Was she on your I really want list? Is that why it was so easy for you? She's on the really want list. Mimiko says, oh, I guess I confused Batgirl with Supergirl then. I think so. I'm not 100% because my brain's all scrambled too. So I you may be right, I may be right, but let's just agree that something happened for a second release. Lummy Lum says, Future is Mirai after all, so I'm sure she'll be back. Yeah, I don't want to say 100% sure she'll be back because I just don't work for Smart Doll, so I don't know the future. I don't know what's going to happen for Future. But it's sounding like, it feels like she will pretty much be there, but I can't make any guarantees. I don't work for Danny, and I'm not Danny, so I can't speak for him. But yeah, the dolls that you really, really want, and then your Grail dolls. Your two separate doll classes, so to speak. And you just gotta really know, or three classes. Your really want dolls, your Grail dolls, and you're like, it would be nice to have them at some point dolls. And you just gotta really make your list, know what's on your list, and just stick to it so that you don't fall into the trap of FOMO. You don't want to fall into the FOMO trap. Make your lists, people, of what you really want in the immediate future, your Grail dolls, and your dolls that you could do without, or it'd be nice to have at some point. Make those lists, people. If you're not a list person, then at least mentally remember it in your head or something like that, so that when a drop happens, or a doll pops up on a secondhand site or in a Facebook group, or a pre-order comes up unexpectedly, an announcement. Know your lists so that you don't fall into the trap of fear of missing out. You don't want to have that fear of missing out. Know your lists. Do your research. I noticed that a lot of people that fall into this trap that make, regrets is individuals that didn't plan. And sure, not all of us are planners. Not all of us are planners. I get that. But you had to make some kind of an attempt in order to make your life easier. Like, who cares about the companies at this point, right? You got to find a way to make your life easier. Like, organize your life to make your decisions easier. Is this a doll I really want? Is this a doll that is a Grail doll? Or can I live without this doll? Can I do without for the time being? Is it something that'll be there all the time? Like Mirai, the flagship girl. Like, I can probably say with 100% certainty, Mirai will always be available because she is the flagship. She is the mascot of Smart Doll. Future is a version of Mirai, but technically she doesn't have the Mirai name, so I don't want to put that guarantee on there, but I can almost guarantee that Mirai will always be around. So if a doll pops up that you really want, and you want Mirai too, you can at least forgo Mirai. You let go of that FOMO, let go of that fear of missing out, you know what I mean? You don't want to miss out on a doll, and you don't want to have that fear of missing out of a doll. If you plan your doll funds appropriately, you plan what's on your really want list versus your Grail list versus your meh list, then the odds of you falling into the FOMO category is going to be pretty low. It will be pretty low. But you know what? Even myself, I fall into the FOMO sometimes. There's been times where I've had the opportunity to buy things and I had to turn them down, or there were times where I wanted to buy things and I really wanted things, and it just so happens I was asleep when a release got dropped. I was sleeping, Or I was in an event. There was a time I was giving a speech. I was in a panel at a con when a drop happened, and I don't usually look at my phone while I'm giving a speech. So like I missed out on something. So, then there's other times where like I'm just like, I really want this, but I don't know. But you know what I do? Here's one thing. I really wanted the Smart Doll boots in purple, the one that was just recent release. It's currently sold out. When the release happened, I really wanted it. You guys know me. I want purple. Purple is my thing. I'll buy almost anything purple if I can buy them. But I'm trying to save for Japan. So when that got released, I was like, the fear, the FOMO, the fear of missing out on this thing was real. It was real hard because when I clicked on that link, it was still available. I could have bought those purple boots. I really could have. It was there. It was mine for the taking. But I want to save for Japan. I really want to go to Japan. So here's where the FOMO kicks in. This is what I tell myself. I will let other people that really want this item to have first shots at it, even though I really want it. But I want a trip to Japan more than these boots, right? But if for whatever reason, next week it's still available, then the FOMO is gone. That means that there is no fear of missing out because it's still available. Maybe it wasn't everyone's cup of tea and it's still there. I have time to save or whatever. Or it could be a week later, it's still there, and maybe I was able to save a little bit more in that time frame or whatever, where I was able to reevaluate my budget and fit it in and buy it. So you could look at it that way. That's kind of like how I do it with some items. Sometimes I'm just like, if it's there next week, then it was meant to be, and I'll buy it next week. But for right now, maybe not. I'll let it slide for right now. Like, that's kind of how I think about it sometimes for certain things. I don't know. Is it the same for you guys? Do you guys have that same kind of mentality or thinking? But FOMO is real, and I sympathize for anybody that goes through FOMO, because I know how it feels. And not everybody has that same willpower or that same, ability to, really stick to their guns. And I'm not trying to say that the people that have no willpower or not able to stick to their guns are worse off than me. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, some people can do it, some people can't. Just like some people can dunk a basketball, some people can't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some things you can control, and some things you just out of your control, and you just gotta learn to kind of like, go with the flow or whatever. What was that? Wait, I think, yeah, let fate decide. I think the Japanese have a saying, because I hear it I don't know exactly what the saying it is, but I was told this, where what is it? It's called, is it Shogunai? Shogunai? Something, the one where it's like, it's the saying where they say where it basically means it can't be helped. That's just the way things are. It can't be helped. Like, that's just, some things are just like that. And, everybody reacts to it differently, and everybody has like different takes on things, but you just kind of have to try your best, Let's see. Shauna says, I can't worry about drops because they usually happen overnight here, or I don't get notifications until they're done. Yeah, I mean, it really depends because, I live here in the States, so usually when Danny does drops, at least for me, it can be as early as like 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. at night, and sometimes it could be as late as like 3 in the morning. So like I'm already asleep. So it just really depends when he decides to release stuff. So, geographically, that kind of hurts your chances in getting things sometimes, but that's nobody's fault that you live on the other side of the world, and you can't expect somebody to like, I shouldn't say somebody, but you can't expect a company to run their business based upon your geographical area, location, and your needs, because you're just one out of how many million people are out there. They can only cater to their, to their specific area as best they can, And some companies, they try to make releases in the best way possible for international crowds, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You can't please everybody. As much as a company would like to, and some of you may debate me on that and say some companies just don't care, and that's a possibility. But even the companies that really care, that genuinely care, they just can't satisfy everybody. It's impossible. So they try to go with the best case scenario that they can possibly run with, and that's what they do. And unfortunately, not everybody will fall into that best case scenario. Let's see. I kind of lost my place. Where was I? Oh my god. Where did I leave off, people? I'm sorry, chat. I got confused. Oh, here we go. Kathy said, Kanata is my grail doll. Give me all the Kanatas. You're a Kanata girl, just like I'm a Chitose girl. Give me all the Chitoses. I'll give you all the Kanatas. You can have all the Kanatas. I want all the Chitoses. I hear you, Kathy. Mimiko says, also, I want to ask, are there any doll events or cons in the United States that you want to go to one of these days? Oh, absolutely. There's plenty of cons that I would just love to go to. I just haven't been able to. Anime Expo in California, I would love to go to that. It's so expensive to fly out to Cali. And the tickets are really expensive for Anime Expo. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Anime Expo has those 3-day or 4-day passes that's $100 or something like that. But then they have this VIP package, which is $600 or something, where you can get into a lot of different events. And some events you can only get in if you have that VIP thing, which kind of sucks. That's a real big money grab. Not everybody can afford that, but I would love to attend AX one of these days. Anime Matsuri in Texas. I would love to go to Anime Matsuri in Texas, as well as Dallas DollCon in Texas. I would love to go to both of those. There's another one. I forget what the name of the con is, but there's one in Chicago, I believe, that I want to go to. I just don't remember what the name of it was. But there's a Chicago con. There's Anime North in Canada that I want to go to. Any other cons that I really want to go to? Oh, the one down in Georgia. I think it's Georgia. It's not an anime con. It's a Dragon Con. I think that's in Georgia or one of the Carolinas or somewhere down south of me. Dragon Con I want to go to. What else is there? Katsucon I haven't been to yet. I just have, because Katsucon always falls in a weird part of winter, like February or something, where it's that's a really bad time of the year for me. But I do want to go to Katsucon at some point. And obviously Idol Festival. I would love to go to Idol Festival. I tried to go in Japan, and then there was the typhoon, and that kind of sucked. Also, I want to try AFA. I want to go to AFA one day, Anime Festival Asia. One of these days I would love to attend AFA. And I would love to attend Wonderfest. I would love to attend Wonderfest one of these days. So there's a lot of cons that I would love to go to. I know you said only US, but I kind of went on a tangent because I'm the king of tangents, and I thought I started thinking of other cons I wanted to go to. Shauna McLaughlin says, I can't worry about drops because they usually happen overnight. Oh no, we already covered that. Let me see. Mimiko says, hey, I'm currently making a list of all the stuff to bring with me to Dallas DollCon next February, so I think I'm a planner. Hey, that sounds like a planner to me. I would love to go to the Dallas DollCon one of these days. I wanted to go the one that just passed. Finances just didn't work out for me. Also timing. There were some events for my kids that was going on during that time, and I couldn't make it happen. I talked to Kat in private, and I told her that there's a possibility I might go, but it ended up not happening. Let's see. Lummy says, yep, I just let fate decide. You just let fate decide? Hey, sometimes that's just the way it's got to go. You just got to let fate decide. I kind of do that sometimes. I'm like, if it's still there by this time, then I'll buy it. That's kind of how I do it. Kathy says, hopefully he will bring back Hater's shirt and glasses for Kanata. I agree with the glasses. I would love for him to, even though I have both glasses, I know a lot of individuals and a lot of friends of mine really want them and missed out on them. So yeah, I would love him to bring the glasses back. If not the original ones, then at least a new style. I think that would be great. As for the hater shirt, I don't really care for it. Really, I thought it was a really funny shirt and a really funny picture, but I wouldn't wear the shirt. It's not really my cup of tea to be wearing. Now the Chitose shirt that I have with the sheep on it, I love that shirt. Unfortunately, I got fat and I can't fit it anymore. So I'm going to at some point put it in one of those glass frames, like how people do with jerseys, and I'm gonna put my Chitose sheep shirt because I can't wear it anymore. Technically, I can wear it, but you're gonna see my big fat gut sticking out. It's gonna be way too much of a unassuming muscle shirt because I bought it like when it released, right? And I got it in medium because I was a medium at the time, and obviously I gained weight. But also the shirts that Danny Chu releases are made of a very nice, super soft cotton. But unfortunately, those kind of shirts they shrink after you wash it a couple times, or at least maybe it's my fault. I didn't know how to wash it properly, and so I think the fact that it shrunk a little bit and I gained way too much weight, I can't fit it anymore. Yeah. But what I would like is for Danny Chu to release shirts again. I know that other individuals do shirts, like My Lady Disdain does some really cool shirts. So if you're interested for some Smart Doll type shirts, My Lady Disdain has some cool ones. But I miss like the Smart Doll shirts. I have a bunch of them. Well, I shouldn't say a bunch. I have let me see. I have the Chitose is a sheep one. I have the Chitose Mirai store one. I have the Keep Calm Carry Smart Doll one, and I have the original Kizuna shirt, which you'll see, which I wore a lot back in the day. You'll see it in a lot of my older videos. So I have those 4 shirts, and I would buy more shirts if Danny would release more shirts. I know that logistically, it's not really there in the cards for him anymore. But if he were to release more shirts, I would love more shirts. I love my Smart Doll shirts. They're awesome. I have to buy them in large now because I gained some weight. My chair keeps sinking. But yeah, let's see. Mimiko says, "Oh, definitely. I really want to buy my first Smart Doll sometime this year. So once I have the funds, if the girl I want is available, I'll get her. And if she's not, then it wasn't meant to be, at least this time." No, that's true. That's a good way of looking at things. Especially like if you really, really wanted a girl and they're gonna come back at some point, and you know they're gonna come back at some point, but you still get mad that you missed her on the first release. I would say, and I'm not trying to, make fun or make light of this situation, but I would say if it's that much of a burden on you, then maybe you gotta kind of like have some like alone time with yourself to like really like meditate or something, or reevaluate your life choices or priorities. Because if that's what I'm saying, if you know it's gonna get a re-release, but you're still like super upset where you lash out at the company because you missed the first release, I think at that point, I don't think again, these dolls are a luxury item. They're not a necessity. These are luxury items. And obviously if you miss out something, it does not feel good and it doesn't put you in a nice place, and you're very upset. But to lash out at a company, I think you really need to reevaluate some life choices at that point. It's not a healthy way to live if that's the case. At least that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just saying, like, maybe you just need to look at things at a different light. Because I don't want you, because even though I don't know most of you that are watching, like, at least not personally, I know your names when you say things in chats or in comments. But like, I know, you are all of you watching this, you're a part of my doll family. I consider you my doll family. Like, I don't want to see you guys in pain. I don't want to see you guys miss out on the dolls you want. But at the same time, these we have to keep in mind, these are luxury items. These are not a necessity in life. As much as we would love them to be a necessity in life, they just aren't. So, if something devastates you that much when you weren't able to purchase a specific doll or an item, at that point, maybe you need to kind of take a step back, calm down, maybe reevaluate some of your priorities or something so that it wouldn't happen again. But that's just my take on things. Like I hate to see anybody like, not get what they want. But at the same time, I'm a realist and I know not everybody, including myself, is going to be able to get the things that I want. Same thing with C2. I really want C2, but if I lose at the click war, I'll be depressed. I'll be upset, but there's nothing I could do about it at that point. Like it's just the way the chips fell. It's unfortunate. It really is. And I will be devastatingly sad, but it's just how it happens, and you just kind of like got to cope with it somehow. Like it's happened to me for other things in my life, not just dolls, where like I was unfortunately not able to get something that I want or do something that I want. And you just got to kind of, maybe I mope around for a few days because I'm just all depressed about it. But, you get over it. Like at the end of the day, they're just things. They're items that make you feel good. It's not like, some things you just can't get over, like, like a death in the family or of a friend. Like that's something totally different. That is a necessity in life. That's like people, that's life. Like these are luxury items. We need to find a way to cope with missing out on luxury items if it just so happened to you. Let me see. Kathy Connie says, me and Chi has the same birthday. So cool. Oh, you do? March, wow. And I call myself a Chi fan. March what? 17th, I think it was? It's Chi's birthday? Right? Yeah, I think it was March 17th. Correct me if I'm wrong, people. It's so embarrassing if I got that wrong. How dare I call myself a Chi fan? I can't even get her birthday right. But that's cool. You and Chi have the same birthday. That's pretty awesome. Yoshi Play says, yeah, Dragon Con's awesome. Oh, you've been to Dragon Con? I've always wanted to go. And my wife is not big on cons. Like, she goes with me sometimes to anime cons, but not really. But Dragon Con is one that she really wants to go to. Like, both me and my wife, like, we want to go to Dragon Con one year. And one of these days we will. And when we do, when I finally get that opportunity to go to Dragon Con and it just, the stars align and all my scheduling works out, I'll announce it on my Twitter or Instagram. So maybe some of us can meet up and have a doll meet at Dragon Con. That's a plan. That's definitely a plan. Jay Louisa says, hello, just came from work. I made it. Welcome to the stream, Jay Louisa. Thank you for coming. I hope you had a good work week. Finally, the work week is over. So, time to kick up your feet and relax for at least the next 2 days or however many days you have off till you have to go back to work. Kathy Coney says, haters gonna hate shirt for the dolls he had. Oh, you want the haters gonna hate shirt? Well, that's a nice one. It's a nice one. I would have my dolls wear the haters gonna hate shirt. The dolls can wear it. I just personally wouldn't wear it. Mimico says, my Lady Saint also made a no sheeps given shirt so you can twin with the dolls. That's right. They did make it. They did make that. That's you're right on that. Just putting it out there. Kathy Coney, 14th. Oh, March 14th. Wow. I am like the worst Chi fan ever. I should have known that. March 14th. Actually, you know what? Hold on, guys. Do you guys have a second to wait for a second? I want to show you guys something. Let me see. If I can get it out. Hold on. If I can find it. I want to show you guys something cool because not many people have these things. I'm assuming you guys can still hear me. Okay. Yeah, I found it. Because I kind of keep it close by. Don't ask me why, but I kind of keep it close by. Let me just organize these so I can show you guys. Hold on. Not this. Okay. I'll show you guys these. Now, I'm not showing you this to brag. I just thought it was cool, and people that are new to Smart Doll probably don't know about it. But so I want to share. I want to share with the group. I want to share with the class, people. Okay. Hold on. Let me close this closet. All right. Let me change view so that you guys can see. Okay. Now, some really cool things. Whether you have seen them or not, but I have these two things here. So when I bought Mirai back in the day, the original Mirai, let me show you one at a time. So the original Mirai came with this card. Pretty cool. Is it clear enough? I hope it's clear enough for you guys to see. And then on the back, Danny Chu has like his own little little message with his little signature on there, which is pretty cool. And then same thing with Kizuna. So hold on, how am I holding it? Same thing with Kizuna. That's Kizuna's card that she came with, and it had the same thing in the back, the same writing and stuff. It's unfortunate. I wish Danny made these things again. He doesn't make them with his dolls anymore. And then when I bought Chitose, she came with her special Chitose whatever card. That's her little Chitose card, which with the care instructions in the back. So the care instructions are back there. Who else? Oh, Kizuna. When I bought Kizuna, she came with her Kizuna card. So why is it not coming out clear? Can you guys see that clearly? Oh, there it is. There it is. It came out clearly. There you go. So yeah, Kizuna had her own card. And it looks like a card, like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. And then even in the back, like she has like stats and things. So please focus. Camera, focus. So like, you know, it would tell you her birthday, November 1st, 162 centimeters, age 17, blood type B. So yeah, these little like character cards, I wish Danny would do them again. I really do, because these are so cool. I loved collecting these. And then this one is my favorite, is the Chitose card. And you could tell it still has the plastic. I never opened it. I didn't want to open it, like, because I wanted to keep it in mint condition. So I actually never opened the card. So I don't know what it says in the back. Come on, focus, camera. Can you guys see it? Aw, I really want you guys to see it. Oh, there you go. So yeah, that's the Chitose card. She's very cute. I love this card. And then like I said, I never opened it, so like the back, it doesn't. I can't see her stats. But yeah, Danny used to release these with his smart dolls, and he doesn't do it anymore. And I guess logistically that makes sense, because he sells way more dolls now. Like, and when I say dolls, I don't mean quantity. I just mean like different dolls. Like, I mean, his front line alone has like maybe, what is it, like 10 dolls on the front line already? So, you know, to make merch like this, or like little knickknack like this, I don't know how much it costs, but obviously it's gonna take human resources to make them, and then cost to make them, and put them in every single box. So I can kind of understand why they're gone, but they were so cool. They were so cool to have. I don't have a Mirai one. I don't know why. I think it's maybe because I lost Mirai's card. I may have lost Mirai's card. That's probably why I can't find it. Because I'm pretty sure Mirai came with one with my Mirai, and I just don't know where it is. Yeah, I just thought, you know, because we were talking about like stuff, and I just thought I remembered I had it, and I wanted to, you know, share with you guys. Is there anything else? I'm trying to see if I can find more. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Is this it? No, that's not it. I thought I had it. Oh, I have this. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna show you this. Hold on. Not that. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. I just made a whole mess out of my drawer here, but I didn't prepare for this. This is one of those tangents I went on, man. So when you buy Mika Jogasaki, she came with one. So Mika had her own card. So Mika Jogasaki had a card. I have this from Danny back when he did the Isetan collaboration, like way back in the day with the Isetan Mall. So there's Mirai in her Isetan. Hold on, let me see if I could get it to focus. In her Isetan school outfit, and this one he actually signed. This is not a what do you call those, like printed? It's not a scanned image. This is actual like ink. Like it's actually like he actually signed it. So there was that was back in the day that he released. And then the older dolls, they don't have them anymore, but the older dolls used to come with a map too. So they used to have a map that he released. It's like this big old map that showed you different places. I think it was in Japan. So let me see. I'm gonna open it up. So you have here the different places to visit, like Yamanashi, Tokyo, Chiba, Ibaraki, Tochigi, things like that. And then on the back, it actually showed you like where they are on the map with the Mirai Millennium cast, like different like Tsukuba Space Center, Lake Kanagawa, Shizuoka, Haneda Airport, things of that nature. Anything in like the local Tokyo area. It was like really cool. They're like little knickknacks that he released back in the day. And, I wish he would release them again. They're really cool collector pieces. And I would just love it. I would absolutely love it if he did it again. But it's just some like really nice knickknack stuff that I kind of miss from Smart Doll. But again, companies change over time, like, and priorities change over time. So, you just gotta roll with it, when things come. Let me see. Where did I leave? Mimiko says it's important to keep an open mind and be okay with not getting things. I just like to think that I will get the doll if and when I'm supposed to have it. That's a good way of thinking about it, and Lumi agrees. Yoshi Play says, that's going to be awesome. My plans are going to MomoCon and Dragon Con this year. I've heard of MomoCon. What is MomoCon? Is it an anime con or is it like something else kind of con? Oh, and PAX. I always wanted to go to PAX. Let's see. Oh, and the Final Fantasy convention, which I know is going to be this year in Las Vegas, but I don't have money to go to Vegas. Mimiko Mini says, oh boy, what is it? Oh, that's when I was getting the cards. Yeah. Lummy says, cool. That's from the early days. Yeah, it is. Yeah, way back in the day, he used to release that stuff. Mika says it's cool. Mimika says, oh, the card's very nice. Kathy Coney, chibi characters. Yeah, the chibi characters. You're right, it's chibi characters. Mimika says, I was nowhere near the hobby when those were around. Yeah, I know. And I'm not trying to throw it in your face. I'm just saying, like, just trying to show you, like, things change and companies change the way they do things. So, like if you're lucky enough though, like some of these things you'll find for sale, like some people sell them that get out of the hobby and you might find them like on secondhand places. So just keep an eye out for them. Let's see what else. Yoshi Play says, yep, that would be cool. Oh, you're talking about the Dragon Con thing. Let me love smiley faces. MomoCon is an anime con. Oh, okay. Where's MomoCon? If it's close by, maybe I can try to go to that one. So yeah, while we are talking about that, give me a second here. So we're coming up on almost 2 hours now. Let's see. So yeah, we talked about, okay, let's do. Oh, gotta go. Tornado watch. Oh, be safe, Kathy, please. Kathy, be safe. Oh my God, a tornado watch. Yeah, definitely. Leave the stream. Go to wherever it is you need to go for safety. Be safe, Kathy. The VODs will always be here, and I'll see you on the next episode. So yeah, just a quick recap. So we talked about, like dolls that you really want, Grail dolls, and we talked about FOMO, throughout all three of those things. So I think we covered a lot today, a lot of topics. And now I know I'm the king of tangents, and I went on a bunch of tangents all throughout while we were talking about these things. But overall, I think, my advice to you guys and whoever watching, now you don't have to take the advice. It's just out there in case you want to use it, is you make 3 lists in your head, in your mind, on a piece of paper and computer, whatever, of your really, really wants dolls, your Grail dolls, and your dolls that you can kind of do without. And just make sure next time a drop happens, a pre-order happens, or a Grail doll just pops up out of nowhere, make sure you measure your lists and just only get what you have on your lists. Okay, so that this way you don't fall into the trap of FOMO. That being said, I have some FOMOs and Grails of my own, and I would like to share it with you guys. So let's go over some of mine, and maybe we could talk about some of yours as we're going. So first up, I want to talk about A-Zone dolls, right? Because there's not many on my list for A-Zone. There's actually only one. And let's go. Happiness Clover, Kina Kazuharu. I really wanted this doll. She is super cute. She has the painted on eyes, so they're not eye chips. They're not glasses eyes. It's the older 1/3 scale dolls. And when I discovered her, when I found out about her, she was already released like years ago. And I cannot, for the life of me, find her used anywhere. Can't find her in any store, any eBays, nothing, no Mandrakes, nothing. Can't find this girl anywhere. So she's a grail doll of mine. If I could find her at some point, I would love to get my hands on her. But she's definitely one I missed out on, and I missed out on her because I wasn't in the hobby when she was released. So I definitely missed out on Kina Kizaharu. So she is definitely on my grail list of grail dolls. But she's the only one from A-Zone. Surprisingly enough, I thought maybe there would be more from A-Zone, but she's definitely on my grail list. And then moving on, let's go to Dolphy Dreams. So Dolphy Dreams for me, I'm going to go from most recent to oldest. So Your Forger, very, very recent release. I really, really want a Your Forger. She's on my really, really want list. But I can't get her because my trip to Japan trumps that. I'm making a conscious decision to save for my trip to Japan rather than buying dolls. So she moves from my really, really want list to my grail list because at some point in time, I'm hoping to get her. Right now, she's really expensive on the secondhand market. She's really expensive on the secondhand market. She's double the price. So most likely I will have to wait till one shows up at a later date. But she will be added to my grail list, and whether or not, but she'll be low. She'll be low on my grail list because I have a feeling there will be more of her available than some of the other ones on my grail list. But yeah, she's one I really want. I really like Spy Family. I know a lot of you people do too. Rin Tokasa version 2. So if you're a Fate fan, you guys will know about Rin. I really like her as a character. Her sculpt herself is not really anything too unique. I just like her character. I like the way she looks. I like her twin tails. I like her outfit, like her school uniform outfit thing. I just like it overall. She's definitely on my grail list. I've seen her pop up every now and again. Once in a while, she'll pop up. But the times I've seen her pop up, she was just more money than I was willing to spend. And a couple other ones that were cheaper, they were all damaged. Because as you can tell, she has black hair. So a lot of them have stained heads because individuals that owned her prior wasn't as, I guess, diligent in checking and making sure she doesn't get stained. So there's a lot of Rins out there that are damaged, and finding one that's not damaged is pretty hard. Now, if I really wanted to, I could buy a damaged one and try to stain treat it. I don't have the time to stain treat right now. Like, I just got so much on my plate. It's not like it's a more difficult thing to do. It's just I just have too much on my plate and I just can't fit any more things at the moment. But she's definitely on my she's not on a grail list because she's a little bit more available than other dolls. Just not a lot available, and most of them are damaged. So I'll put her, she's on my really want list. But I wouldn't really classify her as a grail per se. The next one is Miki Hoshi. Now, Miki Hoshi is on my grail list because I'm not entirely a fan of her character from Idolmaster, but I am a huge fan of her face. She has such a unique face sculpt. Like, there's nothing like it. And all the limited edition Dolphys are unique face sculpts. Like, they're made specifically for that character. So you won't find like a DDH-10 or something like that'll be exactly like this. You can find something that's close, but I just really like her face. She has such an adorable face. And there's a Instagrammer that I follow, and a blogger that I follow that has a Miki Hoshi, and I'm so jealous of her Miki because she's so beautiful. And some of you might know her. She goes by the name of Orchid Dolls. She has a Miki Hoshi, and her Miki Hoshi is so beautiful. I love her in every outfit that she puts her in. Her Miki is just to die for. And ever since, my chair. Ever since I've discovered Orchid Doll, and followed her works, I've always wanted a Miki Hoshi. So Miki's on my grail list. I haven't seen her for sale really, except for one time, and that was in Japan, at Dalteria. She was on sale, but I didn't buy her because one, she was super expensive, and two, she didn't come with anything but the doll. So it was just the doll with the hair, but no outfits, no box, no nothing. And I kind of like, as a collector, I really like having like the full package, even if I would never ever use the outfit ever again. And I that collector in me, I gotta scratch that itch. Like I need the full set. Like I need the box and everything. It's unfortunate you guys can't see it, but I have every single Dolphy Dream box stacked up on a wall, like as a mural. So all the special edition boxes for my limited Dolphys are in a mural. So it's like a wall of them, and it looks really, really cool. Maybe I'll show you guys what it looks like one day. And my two original Mirai and Kizuna bags that they were released in way back in the day that Danny doesn't, give out anymore. I have those up next to my Dolphy Dream boxes because unfortunately there was only the two. When Chitose was released, he didn't make those kind of bags anymore. But yeah, I have like a whole wall dedicated to just like displaying the boxes themselves. So like, I didn't get the Miki that I saw in Japan, and it's really hard to find her. She's very difficult to find. Let's see. Another one, Uncho Kanu. I just call her Kanu. This is a character from Ikitosen. It's a fun show. It's not my favorite of shows, but I the reason why I like her is twofold. I love her face sculpt. Like I love the way she looks. I love her purple hair. She looks amazing. But I also the collector in me really likes her because she's the original T or tan skin tone color for Dolphy Dreams. She was the first doll to be released in a tan skin tone color from Dolphy Dream. So that collector side in me really wants her for that. But then the other side of me just loves her look. I just love her face. I love her eyes. Her expression is just so badass looking. Like I love her. Her, unfortunately, I have never seen for sale ever. Even when I was in Japan, I've never seen her. She's on my grail list. I would love to have her at some point in time. I just can't find her. And then that brings us to Smart Doll. And looky here, this is no surprise. This should be no surprise to anybody that follows my channel. The OG Chitose and the OG Coco. So for those of you that weren't a part of this hobby when Smart Doll first started, yeah, Chitose was released in Coco, and this was the original Coco skin tone color, which I liked. I personally liked it. Realistically, the new Coco skin tone color does suit the dolls better, because this is more so turning out not to be a Coco. It's more like a fantasy color now. It's like a lavender release of a doll. And you guys know me, I love purple, I love lavender. And unfortunately back then, it was during that time when Danny had the philosophy of all the dolls will be available all the time. So there was no risk of FOMO. So I kept putting her on the back burner, like I did all the other ones, because I had Chitose and Milk, and then Tea came out and Coco came out, and I was like, they're gonna be around for a while, and when I have that itch to scratch to buy them, I'll just buy them then. And then it came around where he discontinued that whole philosophy, and he put dolls in the cryo sleep, and they never came back. And it's just unfortunate I wasn't able to get her. And now I really I really FOMO'd out on her, and she's one of the heartbreaks that I'll never get. It's just so I'm so depressed about it. But maybe one day she will just somehow emerge from somewhere, and I'll be able to get my hands on her. But she's definitely on my grail list. If I can find an OG Chitose in the original cocoa/lavender color, I want her so bad. All you older smart doll owners out there that have one, you willing to sell? Come on. You know it. You guys willing to sell? I want one. I want an OG Chitose and OG Coco. It's on my grail list. Oh my god, but it just wasn't meant to be. And if fate, like Mimiko says, if fate wills it to be, at some time in my future, an OG Chitose and OG Coco will come into my lap. So, oh, that didn't sound right. I will be able to buy one at some point. At some point, I will be able to buy one. Okay, potty mouth, potty head. So that is one that I really want from Smart Doll. She's on my grail list of dolls to buy. And then lastly, Twilight. I talked about this on My Lady Disdain because somebody asked about. Twilight is one that I regret not buying, that I wish I got. She was one of the original T skin tone color dolls that was released. I don't think she was the first one. Was she the first one? No. She wasn't the first one because the first one were the twins, Ivory and Ebony. They were the first tan skin tone color dolls, which they're not even available anymore. You can't get your hands on Ivory or Ebony at all. And then after Ivory and Ebony were released, then came Twilight. And one of my friends that lives in New York City actually purchased a Twilight. It's his only smart doll. And I'm jealous now because he has a Twilight. I really want a Twilight so bad. So she's on my grail list when it comes to smart doll stuff. Definitely a grail of mine for Twilight. But yeah, that's my list. That's my FOMO/grail doll list. What is your guys? Do you guys have anybody on your FOMO list or your grail doll list? So just to recap, quick recap, we have Kazuhara, A-Zone, grail list. Yor on my really want list. Rin on my really want list. Miki on my grail list. Miki is on my grail list. And then, oh wow, too fast. Kanu is on my grail list. OG Chitose is on my grail list. And Twilight is on my grail list. That is my grails, people. Don't be stealing my grails. You know, part of me thought about this when I was preparing for today's episode is like, should I really tell people my grails? Because then people are going to go after them and I can't get them. But you know what? If, like I said, it's fate. If it was meant to be, then I will eventually get them if it was meant to be. And if it wasn't meant to be, somebody else will get them. Somebody else will get them and enjoy them. But yeah, those are my grails that I want. And those are also my FOMOs that, you know, those are the ones I missed out on. I had the fear of missing out on them. And, you know, and I will have the fear of missing out on them when they do pop up. If they come back from cryo sleep or pop up on secondhand websites or Facebook groups, you know, that FOMO is going to come on strong. I'm telling you, people. It's going to be hard. And I have to have the willpower to not go crazy when that happens. Oh my gosh, I have to have the willpower to not go crazy. Now, let's see. Let's catch up with chat. What's going on in chat, people? Mimiko says most of my collection is A-Zone. Oh, really? Oh, cool. So I guess you're a hardcore A-Zone fan if that's the case. I occasionally saw her pop up on eBay, but not for a long while. Yeah. Yeah, she's where is she? I can't find her. I can't, like, I tried looking for her when I was in Japan. I couldn't find her there. I tried Yahoo auctions. Like, I don't know where she is. And all the owners that have her is not willing to sell her. But she's like one of the rare few tan skin tone color dolls from A-Zone, because mostly A-Zone just has like their version of flesh, and then they have like their white and whatever super whitey is. I don't know what that is, but there's that, and then there's tan, which is just her. I don't know the other dolls that come in tan, if there are other dolls. So it's like, eh. And it's not even just because she's tan. It's just, look at that face. Like, she's got that cool face, man. I just really like her. Let's see. Yoshi Plays. My favorite is A-Zone. I mostly love Dolphies with twin tails, but mostly I liked long hair Dolphies. Yeah, the twin tail dolls are really cute, but they're really hard to manage, the twin tails. And what I mean by that is because depending on which wig it is, some wigs, the twin tails are kept on by clamps, like little like clampy thingies. And then other twin tails are sewn on, but they're like loosely sewn on. Like, for example, Sailor Jupiter doesn't have a twin tail, but she has a ponytail. And there's so many horror stories out there of Jupiter owners that broke off the ponytail because it's on there very loosely. I don't know why Volks didn't sew it on with more than one stitch, apparently. So like, I always am very hesitant when I take Jupiter out because I'm so scared that the ponytail is gonna fall off. So I try to stay away from ponytail dolls. Not because they don't look good, it's just because I have that fear of the ponytail falling off. I also try to stay away from curly hair dolls because managing curly hair for me is just super difficult. Like, I just don't know how to properly take care of it. Like, for instance, here we go. Cheryl-san, she's got curly hair. Not very curly, but she's got wavy hair. And even this, I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera, but she's got so many flyaways. So many flyaways. It's hard to keep her hair like you know, copacetic. Like, it's just so many flyaways. I don't know how to properly care for curly hair. So I usually try to stay away from curls or wavy hair because I don't know how to take care of it. Let's see. Mimiko says, oh, Orchid Dolls, her photos are actually what got me into the hobby. Yeah, Orchid Dolls has beautiful photos. She takes amazing doll photos. I think like, cause she lives in Europe, and I believe she had a YouTube video of a doll convention where she actually hosted a panel on how to take doll photos. And I remember I watched that video like over and over and over because I tried to pick up some tips from her because she has great photos. I love her photos. Same thing with what's her name that has really, really great photos. Oh my god, it's beyond me right now. What is her name on Instagram? She has amazing photos. I'm trying to go through my list. May Orange Studio. She has amazing photos, and she made me 2 dresses too, which I really love. Those dresses are super nice. Yeah, May's Orange Studio has some great photography, and there's so many other mores, but those are the ones that really stuck out to me. Batman Jackson has. Oh, you have Ebony? See, you're one of the few. Nobody thought, like at the very beginning of Smart Doll, nobody thought that these dolls would become extinct and rare because Danny Chu said he was going to keep them going forever. But yeah, you're one of the few that still has an Ebony. Jay Louisa, Ebony and Ivory. I like the song, Ebony and Ivory. You guys don't want to hear me sing. Okay. Mimiko says, I don't really have any grails, but just because I have been fortunate enough to not fall in love with any older or rarer dolls. That's fair. That's fair. And you know, also another statement to be fair, you know, a lot of the older dolls, they're not, I don't want to say as nice, but they're not as refined as the dolls we have now. Because obviously it's an evolution, just like Danny has the Evolve frame. You know, same thing with Dolphy Dream with their DD1, DD2, DD3, and now DDF3. Like, everything is a progression, and they only get better with time, and some would argue worse. But for the most part, they get they get better with time. So a lot of the older dolls are a little rough around the edges. They're not as, refined or as good as they could have been if they were made, like, let's say nowadays, like if they got a second release. So, that it's kind of understandable when you say that there may be some older dolls that you're just not feeling. Whether it's an original character or, a collaborated character, that's a fair statement for sure. Mimiko also says, I collect a variety of doll sizes, so A-Zone's selection of characters can't be beat. That's true. A-Zone is definitely the one company, aside from Obitsu, that works hand in hand with them anyways, is the company that like has multiple different lines of dolls. From 1/3 to 1/4 to 1/6 to 1/12 to even the Pico, right? The Pico Nemos, which are like this big, like these tiny little dolls. The A-Zone has a wide variety of lines and dolls, and it's so hard to keep up with all of them. They have so many, it's hard to keep up with every line of dolls. And if you want to consider Parabox in that list, because Parabox, A-Zone, Obitsu, they kind of all share parts. They all kind of like are all molded essentially from Obitsu, but Parabox has a 1/2 scale doll. That's a really big doll, and it's a cute doll. It's a cute doll. I think they just came out with their 3rd version. Like they had 2 girls initially released with 2 different type of faces. I think one had an oval, more mature face. One had more of a baby face. And then they just announced, I think, a 3rd version of their 1/2 scale doll with I forgot what the face looked like, but they're releasing like another one. So yeah, A-Zone, Obitsu, and Parabox like are kind of like all like sister companies, and they have so many different sizes for dolls. Let's see. Mika7 says, I don't have any Grail dolls here. All smart dolls are cute. I just look at their face. If they call my attention, I will get it, but I will look all the skin tones first before decision making which one to get. That's a good way of looking at things, and if one just so happens, like if you wanted a T and it got sold out, it may come back. You just wait for it to come back. But if it doesn't, it doesn't, you just kind of like, it wasn't fate, so to speak. Shauna McLaughlin, time to call a night. Oh, have a good night, Shauna. Thank you for coming to the stream. I really appreciate you coming by and chatting with us today. We'll see you next episode. Have a good night. Let's see. Mimiko says the first DDs were kind of jank with their upward pointing knee joints and such. Yeah, some of the original OG, like the older ones, like now that you brought it up, let's go. Okay, hold on, guys. Cause look what Mimiko started. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, people. We're doing it. Where is it? Hold on. I got you guys. Let's see. Because Mimiko brought it up. Here we go. These are like the original Dolphy Dreams, like the really older ones. So let's go for the first one, Rei and Ayanami. Like, you could see in the face, it's not up to today's standards of Dolphy Dreams. Like, you could still tell it's Rei Ayanami, but it's not really Rei Ayanami. Like, it's kind of jank. Like, it doesn't look as good. Like, look at the shoulders. You can see, like, this kind of covers over a little bit, but then this one doesn't. Like, like a lot of it, like, this is the very first release. Oh, look at that. And it was 29,000 yen back then. 29,000 yen! It was so much cheaper back then, in 2004. Very first Dolphy Dream. Let's see what else we got here. Like this doll, I don't even know what this is. The Sinus? Oh, Sirius prototype anniversary model. Like, the lips aren't even. Like, they just like don't look right. I don't know this character, so I can't really tell you if it looks like the original character, but yeah, I mean, like the makeup and the eyes, like it's just not as refined as you would see in Dolphy Dreams, nowadays. Here's a white skin, the original OG white, which they don't even carry anymore. It's not semi-white, this is white. And like, it just doesn't, they have their place and they have their fans, And I'm sure if I got into the hobby back then, maybe, maybe it'd be something that I have nostalgia for. But I wasn't around in the hobby when these dolls were released. Um, Shauna, let's see. Mimiko says Obitsu and Parabox are good bases for customizing to me, while A-Zone exclusively sells full sets, so I prefer them. True, Obitsu and Parabox stuff, a lot of the stuff they can sell blanks. They deal a lot in blanks where you can customize your dolls. Jay Louisa says, woof, that's rough. Mimiko, oh no, I started a doll rant. How terrible. Yeah, no, but like, look at this. Like, and you can actually see the improvements. Like, as it goes on through the years, like, look at this one. This one looks somewhat better. Like, you could see some blush now in the cheeks. So it's getting a little bit better. Like some of these early dolls, they're like, look at this. Like, when was this? Look, it's a Vision. Smart Doll Vision. Like, Dolphy Dream released one like this when? When was this? December of 2005. This was released in Doll Party 25. But look, it's like a Vision. Dolphy Dream's version of Vision way back in the day. This is Da Capo. Let's see. Like some of these, yeah, look at these. The original Haruhi Suzumiya. Look at that face. Like, you could tell it's Haruhi, right? Like, you could tell it's her. But the face is kind of jank. No offense to people that own Haruhi. Like, maybe it's just the way that the photo was taken. Because in this photo, she actually kind of looks a little bit better. In this photo, she kind of looks good, but it's just this head-on version that looks a little jank to me. Like, I don't know. But, like, that's just how it is. Like, the older versions, like, with time, they improve. Like, they get, because they evolve. Like, they learn, like, how to make better paint masks or paint molds and stuff like that. So, like, as you go on, like, look at this Rei Ayanami versus the original one. This looks much more like Rei, except this is the old school white. I think she probably looks better in semi-white. This is a little too white for Rei, I think. And then as we get to newer years, oh, this is another one. I should have put this on my Grail list. I want a Mai Shiranui. I'm a huge King of Fighter fans. I would love to have a Mai Shiranui doll. They're getting a little bit better. This one kind of scares me. I don't know what this is exactly. Princess of the Spiral King Nia. I don't know that show or that manga or whatever it is from. But this one kind of scares me, actually. As we go in through the years, things get better. The original Saber Lily that everybody pines over, she looks really nice. She's beautiful. I think this is Danny's. This is Danny's original Saber that he likes. You just have all these different doll choices from back in the day. Cosmos, I know a lot of people like. I don't like her face, but I like the character Cosmos. I had a Momo. I unfortunately sold her, but she was super cute. I know a lot of people like the Persona Rise girl. And as we go down the list, like you could see, like, even with Cheryl, like, look at the makeup. It just gets better with time. Like, they hide the blush behind the eyeliner to give it depth. They add like little lashes coming out to give it that look. The gloss on the lips with the dark shading in the middle. Like, you didn't see that in the original dolls. So, things evolve with time. They get better with time, and as you go down the list, they start getting more and more, like to what we have today. Like, where is it? This is today's releases with Yor and Utena and Stola. Like, things change, companies evolve. Let me close this now. But that was a trip down memory lane, that wasn't it? Did you see any Grail dolls as we were going through that? Oh man. Let's see. Mimica says I'm pretty impressed with the quality of factory face-ups these days. Yeah, they're really good. They've really stepped up their game as time have gone on. Like, Volks has been doing really well. Even with Smart Doll, like the original Mirai sculpt, the OG Mirai which they still use to well, no, which they don't use. I'm sorry, they don't use the original Mirai makeup because Mirai turned into Mirai Anniversary, and then Mirai Anniversary's makeup style became the default makeup style for Mirai that you get now. So the Mirai I have is a different Mirai than what you guys have nowadays that you can purchase of a Mirai. The head sculpt is the same, the eye is the same. It's just that, oh no, not even the eyes are the same because I think he improved the eye slightly. He just changed the shade a little bit. But the makeup is totally different on the new Mirai from the old one. You know, so there's a progression of things. And then you just gotta, decide and make your lists on what you really want, what your grails are, and whatever, and then stick to it. Try to get that willpower to stick to it, people. Find that doll that speaks to you, that you really like. I think the first old DD I saw was either Excellent, Cyrano, or that other Super Robot Worlds girl whose name I can't remember. Yeah, Excellent and Cyrano. They were a little rough around the edges too. Yoshi Plays, hi, I'm back again. I brought Akiko with me. Oh, well, welcome back, Yoshi Plays and Akiko. Thank you for joining the stream. You're joining in towards the end of the stream. This is more of the tail end, but thank you for coming back nonetheless. So let's move on to our last part of the stream. Let's move on to our last part of the stream, which is going to be my anime corner. I have another anime that I want to talk about, and it's not a new anime by all means. It's not newer. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because it had a new season that came out. So that would be Attack on Titan. How many of you saw this coming? Probably none of you. Maybe. Who knows? Attack on Titan is one of those shows I did not like. When it first came out, I watched it just like everybody else, and I didn't like it. I thought it was too violent, and the characters were dying off. I'm not a fan of dying off characters, especially when I end up liking them. There was just too much death, and I was like, some of it was unnecessary. Unnecessary violence and death. Some of it. But that being said, though, I did finish the first season, and I wasn't a fan. I was on the fence. Some of it was cool, some of it wasn't. And I stayed away from it for many years. And a friend of mine, a coworker of mine, was talking about the final season that was released this past year. And he was like, "Oh no, it gets better. It's so much better. It's really good. You should watch it, blah, blah, blah. Whatever." So I was like, okay, I'll give it a second shot. So I rewatched the first season over again. And watching the first season over again with new, I guess, refreshed eyes, maybe I was in a different funk when I originally watched it, or some kind of mood or something. But when I watched it the second time around, I actually got into it more the second time around watching it. I actually kind of got into it. And that kind of got me hooked. And then I watched the second season, then I watched the third season, and now I'm on the fourth season. So I can't wait to finish the fourth season and then get to the OAVs or the movies that happened afterwards. So yeah, I won't recommend this for kids. So this is more of an adult show. Definitely not for children. Don't watch it in front of your kids, and make sure your kids are not watching it, because there's a lot of violence, and some of it is unfortunately unnecessarily violent and a little too grotesque, kind of like watching Game of Thrones. So if you're used to watching stuff like Game of Thrones, then you won't mind watching Attack on Titan, at least violence-wise. But it is a very good show. It did take a little bit for me to warm up to it, so it may not be for everyone. But if you do muscle through the first season, it does get better, and I actually do really like it now. So I did put it on my list for my anime corner for this week, or for this episode. And if you do end up watching it, let me know what you guys think. No spoilers, though. I'm halfway through the fourth season, which is pretty much like a few episodes after this picture that you see here. I saw this part, this picture that you see here. I just only like 1 or 2 episodes after that, so please no spoilers. But but I now, like, because I only just started watching it like 2 months ago, so like I'm like I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe like I missed out on this like when it was coming out like years ago. But now I want to get a Scouts cape. I next time I go to cons, Batman Jackson. When I'm gonna next time you see me at a con, I might be wearing a Scouts regiment cape. I'm trying to find one online. I want to get a Scouts regiment cape and go to cons again, with that cape because I'm starting to really love like Attack on Titan. Not done with it yet, so please no spoilers. But it's really good. Like if you like that type of stuff, like Game of Thrones type of, I guess you could say, violence and politics too. There's a lot of politics in Attack on Titan apparently. It's not just all action. So definitely check it out. That's my recommendation for today's episode. Watch Attack on Titan. There's 4 seasons and I think 3 movies. I haven't gotten to the movies yet. So yeah, I recommend it. Not for kids though. I do not recommend it for kids. Just adults, 18 and older people, please. Let me see. Mimiko says, "Oh, you just reminded me." Oh, Miko raised her hand. Oh, meaning that you like it? You raise your hand because you like it? Okay. Mimiko says, "Oh, you just reminded me. I also want to make a doll of Iwanaga Kotoko from Inspectory someday." I never saw that show, Inspectory. Is it good? I assume it's good because you want to make a doll from it. Maybe I'll check that one out. I know of it. Like, I've seen the pictures and stuff of the title or whatever. I just never actually watched it. Mika, so much death in the show. I know. There's just so much. Like, that's the one thing that kind of holds me back from this show is just, I don't mind like if somebody dies, if it's like within reason, like if there's like a good reason to show it, but there's just so much unnecessary death in this show, which which I personally believe is a drawback. It's just there's just so much unnecessary death. Like, I guess if you want to be realistic about it, if you were really in a situation like this, then I guess that's kind of how it would play out. But still, if for a show that you're supposed to enjoy, like, they went a little too over the top on that aspect of it. But it's still a very good show, though. I do recommend it. Yoshi Play says, "I'm watching AOT on the Adult Swim app on my Chromebook." How far are you, Yoshi? Are you in season 4 yet, like me? Or are you still in the beginning seasons? Or maybe you passed me? Batman Jackson says, "Bro, I've got a whole Attack on Titan cosplay. Let's go! Let's go! What do you got, Batman Jackson? What do you got? Like, I want to get the cape. I want to get the Scouts cape. So can we be Scouts together next time at Otakon? At Otakon, can we be Scouts together, Batman? I want to be Scouts. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm looking for a place to buy a Scout. I don't want to wear the whole outfit. I just want the cape. So I'm looking for a place. I know there's places out there, but I definitely want one. Oh, check your DMs. Okay, nice. Let's go. Yes. Yes, let's go. Oh, nice. I like the outfit. Nice. You don't have the cape, though. Where's the cape, man? You gotta have the cape. All right. Mimiko says, "I don't know much about AOT, but I know how it ends, and I can't wait to hear your reaction to the ending when you finish it." No, yeah, okay, no spoilers, because I don't know how it ends yet, but there's been so many twists and turns. I don't want to spoil anything for people, but what I will say is that the show, without giving anything away, how do I explain it to like kind of hype it up, but without giving it away? It's like the Transformers. In that, okay, hear me out. In that, there's more than meets the eye. So if you're not familiar with Transformers, I guess I have to think of another way of saying it. But there's a phrase that more than meets the eye. There, with Attack on Titan, there is definitely more than meets the eye, if that makes any sense. it's there's more to it than what you see. I guess you can make the argument that's like every single show out there, but but this one more so in general. There's more to it than what they're actually showing you, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I mean, definitely check out Attack on Titan. There's so many twists and turns where like I get to a certain episode and I'm like, what? No, wait, what? I'm like so confused. I'm like they totally like 180'd me, and I'm just like, what? So like it's a good show. I highly recommend it. If you're old enough to watch it, I highly recommend it. Let's see. Yoshi Play says, I'm on season 4, final season, part 2. Okay, I'm not in part 2. I'm still in part 1, so you're a little bit ahead of me. Mika says, I'm in the final season, and I talk about it with my friend who also watches the anime. Yeah, that's the good thing about anime. Like, if you have a good friend group or somebody that you could talk to about it all the time, it makes for great conversations. It's just like anything in life. Like if you're a football fan, it's great to have other football fans to talk about stuff with. So I mean, it's the same thing, really. But anime is definitely something that's more available, and there's a lot more people willing to talk about it and show their anime pride nowadays than there was when I was growing up. Like when I was growing up, you were the weird kid if you liked anime. Like you were the outcast. Like people made fun of you if you watched anime. Like you were the quote unquote loser if you watched anime when I was a kid. Nowadays, I kind of feel like nowadays, if you're not watching anime, like for kids, that is, because my daughter watches it now. And like the kind of way like it seems to be described to me is that nowadays, the young folk nowadays, if you're not watching anime, you're the odd one out, which is such a weird role reversals. It's like when I was a kid, it was frowned upon. Nowadays, it's like the cool thing, like to watch anime. So I don't know. Times have changed, man. Times change. I'm an old man. Mimiko, oh yeah, and on the topic of anime, I'd also recommend Letter B. Reminded of this because of plot twists. Okay, so Letter B? I'm gonna look it up real quick. Is it on Crunchyroll? Because I'll give it a shot. Let me see. Letter. Oh, is it this one? Tegami Bachi Letter B. Is that the one? Tegami Bachi Letter B? Because I typed in Letter B and it gave me Tegami Bachi. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Because that's what pops up on Crunchyroll. Unless it's not on Crunchyroll. Is it a High Dive kind of thing? Because I noticed High Dive has a lot of obscure anime. And a lot of like hentai-ish type anime too. Like you don't find many of that or on Crunchyroll, but you find a lot of that on High Dive for some reason. I don't know. Maybe High Dive is the risque streaming service of anime. I only have a High Dive account because I want to watch Reincarnated as a Sword and Eminence of Shadow. That's the only reason why I have a High Dive account. I mostly watch all my stuff on Crunchyroll. But yeah, if that's the one that you're talking about, the Tegami Bachi Letter B, I'll add that to my list. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, I'm gonna add it to my queue, as everybody will make fun of me because I keep adding things to my queue and never getting to them. But at least it's on there, so at least one day when I'm looking for something to watch, I can pick on my list of stuff. So it's on the queue. It's officially on the queue. I read the manga before on my Shonen Jump magazine. Which one are you talking about? Attack on Titan? Yoshi Plays? Yeah, I think that's what you're referring to, because your last post was about Attack on Titan. So, anyways, yeah, that's my pick for Anime Corner this week. I haven't done a Dream Doll in a while, and that's because I can't think of any more Dream Dolls right now that I would want to make into a Dream Doll. So until I find another character that I really want to make into a Dream Doll, I probably won't have a Dream Doll segment for quite some time, unless a guest has a Dream Doll that they want to talk about. But that fully brings us to the end of today's episode. Yay, Cheryl's back. Oh, you're talking about Tegami Bachi? Oh, okay. So you used to read the manga of that on Shonen? Okay. I'll give it a try when I get a chance. I'll give it a try. And if you guys are ever wondering why when I'm talking to you, I'm looking like this, it's because chat is on my second monitor. It's not on the monitor in front of me because I have to the monitor in front of me, I'm monitoring my bit rate, my internet connection, all my YouTube stuff that I need to monitor. And then chat is to my left. So so if I'm talking to you and I'm looking like this, it's because I'm reading I'm reading chat. But yeah, I'll put Tagami Bachi. It's on my list. It's on my queue. When I get a chance to get around to it, I will try it out at some point. But that wraps up today's episode. I hope you guys had fun in today's episode. Thank you everybody for coming out. We talked a lot about different stuff and a lot of tangents. As I'm gonna just like nominate myself as Tangent King. I go on too many tangents, man. But yeah, I hope you guys had fun with today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Talking about what you want in a doll, what really speaks to you, how to like save up for your dolls, or how to discern which dolls are really worth it, what's not worth it, what could be a grail, what's considered a grail. I know that some of the stuff we talked about today is very subjective. It really depends on on the person, on how you would define the things that we defined today. But I would like to think that even though it is subjective, that a lot of us have some similarities or common ground between a lot of the things we talked about today. So hopefully you guys found it fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We are going to have a guest in April. I'm trying to see if I can get 2 guests for April. But the one guest, they're not sure if they're able to come on. Let me see. I'm checking my calendar again, because the next episode of Beyond the Doll is going to be April 7th and April 21st. And the next guest that's coming on, they're still not sure with their schedule if they can make the 7th or the 21st. But we will have a guest in April. And I'm very excited to have this guest. Very, very excited. I feel like I'm going to fanboy. I got to behave myself and not fanboy in front of this guest, because I'm so surprised they agreed to do this. So I'm really, really happy that I'm going to have this guest. And then the second guest I'm working on. I'm trying to see if I can get somebody on as a second guest. But if not, it's going to be another solo thing for just me, just talking. And hopefully we'll have some good topics to converse about. So again, thank you everybody for coming. Before I let you all go, I made it a point that I have to announce this now in every single episode. Just want to remind you guys, I am going to be hosting a doll booth with Tempest, who's been a guest on the show twice already in the past. We are doing a doll booth at Thy Geekdom Con, which is going to be coming at the end of May. I think it's May 26th to 28th. We're going to have our own doll section with a workshop and a photo booth. We're also going to have a lot of dolls on display, and it's just a big hangout so we can hang out and talk dolls and get to know each other. And just have fun, because we don't have a lot of gathering areas here on the northeast side of the United States. So if you're around the Pennsylvania, Jersey, Delaware, New York area, even Massachusetts, come down to Thy Geekdom Con in May and come visit me and Tempest and many other doll owners. We officially have a Kitten Cat Shop. They're going to be attending on that Saturday as well. So they will be there if you want to meet them as well. And there are some other individuals that are planning on going, but they haven't yet worked out the logistics. So I don't want to announce who else is planning on going until, we have a definite that they're going to make it. So if you guys are interested, head on down to Thy Geekdom Con in May. If you're in the United States and the Northeast side, definitely come check us out and have fun. Let's go and hang out, people, and talk doll stuff and take photos. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Also, Anime Next in June, I will be there, and I'm going to try my best to put together a doll meet at Anime Next. And Otakon. I'm also going to be in Otakon in July. So definitely, if anyone's going out to Otakon, let's hang out there as well. Batman Jackson will be there with me at Otakon, and I believe we may have a space. We're trying to get a space for a doll meetup there, so that might be happening as well. So I'm trying with friends, me and my friends, we are trying to build up a gathering and build up a place for all of us doll family to get together and hang out, at least here on the East Coast, because we know the West Coast has their own dedicated group at Anime Next, and the people in the Mid-South and Texas area, they got their Dallas DalCon, and I believe even in South Carolina, they have their own group down there that meets at a DalCon. So we need to get something going here in the northeast corner of the United States, which we don't currently have. So I'm trying my best with my friends to get something started. So Thy Geekdom Con, we're going to have a booth. Anime Next, I'm trying to put together a doll meetup. Let's meet up there. And Otakon, Batman Jackson and I are trying to put together something for Otakon. So if anybody is interested in meeting us or just hanging out with like-minded doll people, definitely try that out, and we'll see you guys there. So thank you for coming, everybody. Thank you, Yoshi Plays. Thank you, Mimiko, for coming. Have a good night. Batman Jackson, you'll be at Anime Next. Cool. I'll see you at Anime Next as well. Yoshi Plays, you're gonna be at MomoCon. I'm gonna look into MomoCon, see if I can make it or not. I just gotta check it out, the logistics and everything. So thank you, Yoshi, and everybody else that was in the stream today that conversed with us live. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I really, really do appreciate you guys coming out to talk with me and just hang out. I have so much fun, like, talking with you guys. It's been a blast. It's gonna be a year now. In April, it will be a whole year of Beyond the Doll. So it's gonna be the anniversary. We'll try. I'll try and see if I can come up with something special for the anniversary. I guess for the 1 year anniversary. We'll see. I'll try. No promises. So thank you, everybody, for coming to the stream. I really appreciate it. I really do. Please hit that like button if you liked the stream. And subscribe to me if you haven't, so this way you get notifications when all the new episodes come up. And that's it. Everything for me. I'm your host, Shizusan. My beautiful assistant here is the very lovely Cheryl Gnome. Again, thank you, everybody, for coming to the live stream. And for those of you that are watching the VODs at a later date, thank you for watching the VODs. Please leave a comment, and subscribe. I almost forgot my little jingle at the end. And we will see you guys in the next episode. So take care. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Bye.